baby. You say you love me like no one else can. Say that I'm your one true love. If you don't count your other man, oh babe, please. I said your love, babe, is killing me. And you're guilty of the blues in the first degree. I've been doing hard time by the way you've been treating me, and I got no parole, babe, from this pain and misery. Oh, babe, please. Your love, girl, is killing me. And woman, you're guilty of the blues in the first degree. First degree. I'm gonna take the stand, and I'm gonna raise my right hand, and then I'm gonna testify, babe, about how you mistreated me. I'm gonna make my plea to the judge and to the jury, and then I'm gonna tell the warden to lock you and throw away the key. 'Cause you're guilty of the blues in the first degree. hypnotized. You're such a player that I don't realize, but baby, you should put down that phone. 'Cause hell in heaven, Georgia, now you're doing me wrong. They're talking, baby, oh yeah. Your sister said she knows what I should do. Your cousin came by, now she wants to do it too. Oh girl, I'm gonna bang her gone. 'Cause hell in heaven, Georgia, now you're doing me wrong. Doing me wrong, 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 doing me wrong, 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 doing me wrong, 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 baby, doing me wrong. I said wrong, wrong, doing me wrong. Hell in heaven, Georgia, now you're doing me wrong. I know, baby. I said hell in heaven, Georgia, now you're doing me wrong. Doing me wrong. Hell in heaven, Georgia, now you're doing me wrong. You're doing me wrong.
Turn that off. Episode 79, STL Roar, MyCityMyMusic.com. We have Mr. Anthony Gomes in the house, and we just heard 2 of his songs. Here he is. Woo, woo, woo. We have an audience just for you. We keep him hidden under the stairs.
It's a great studio audience, yes.
Don't have to feed him.
No.
Don't have to pay him.
Always at your beck and call.
I know, and they love everybody who comes in here.
Yeah,
It's
that's
freaking awesome.
wonderful, yes.
So glad you're here.
Great to be here.
Oh
Thank
my gosh, so you're here because, of course, you're playing Diamond Music Hall Saturday night.
you. Yes.
Claudia Rose is your opening act.
Yes.
Wait till you meet that little girl, you're just going to fall in love with her. You
I've
may
heard.
kidnap her and take her on the road with you.
Yeah, well, we've heard a lot of great things, so we're definitely looking forward to that. And it'll be our first time at the Diamond.
Yes.
So I hear it's just a rock and roll extravaganza of a joint, and I can't wait to get down there.
It is badass. It's huge. It's got a killer stage. Why is that? Is that you? Tweezy just turned a light on my eye. I was like, oh, hey. It's a badass stage. The sound is awesome. It's a huge. They got a big dance floor. They've got a room to seat an army in 3 and 4. They've got pool tables. They got great food. I mean, it's a really cool venue. You're gonna like it.
We used to play a place back in the day called House of Rock.
House of Rock.
And-
I just talked about that last
Yeah.
night. I love that place.
Yeah, and apparently this is like House of Rock on steroids.
It is. It is. You're gonna like it.
Good,
It's
good.
like 3 times the size.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really cool. It's been around, I think, for a couple of years, but the new owners, Topher and Johnny, they have just taken it over and just, they book all kinds of really cool acts. Like they're doing an original night, like Thursdays. They usually have all the local original bands play, 2 or 3 of them together, which is really cool. So we don't have a lot of venues that do play just original music, as you know.
Well, that was the one interesting thing when I moved to St. Louis about 10 years ago. I lived in Nashville before, Chicago, Toronto, and I was like, St. Louis is cover band central. It's sort of like, if we became our own cover band, we might draw better than our own. It's like
Exactly.
the Anthony Gomes tribute is outdrawing Anthony Gomes. It's really strange in this city, and even in like the RFT or whatever, they even have a thing like the best cover band.
Yes.
And and the argument is musicians need to work, and absolutely,
Right.
you do what you got to do, and playing in a cover band, you're still honing your skills. To do that kind of music well, any kind of music,
Right.
takes a lot of discipline. At the same time, original music should be promoted by the big radio stations, by the community in St. Louis, and this is artists trying to create something original, right? Something
Exactly.
new, something fresh. And I was surprised about how easily people would bypass that in St. Louis.
I know.
And still do. And so it's great that there's shows like this, that really promote original music. It's great that they have an original music night on Thursday nights.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we need. You know, people are saying, well, where's the music going? It's dying. And, well, yeah, because you need to promote original music.
So we can play more covers.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, I love Led Zeppelin and I love Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
You know, but you listen to some radio stations and their playlist looks the same as it was in 1972.
I know.
You know, there are a lot of great bands out there, a lot of great artists trying to make it. And as we were talking off air, it's not easy in this day and age to make it as an artist. So we need help, and thank you for what you're doing.
Oh,
Everybody
no
here.
problem. Oh, yeah, no, this is great. You're phenomenal. Oh, my gosh. You can't really call you just blues. You're blues, rock, and Anthony.
Right.
Because you've got your own flavor on there, which is great. You know, we know your music because it's yours, which is what it's supposed to be. Original music, you should have your own sound. So
I tell people I have a you know, blues soul and a rock and roll heart.
that's good.
And that's sort of I grew up listening to rock music, and then I found the blues. And when I found the blues, it was like, oh, now I understand Jimi Hendrix setting his guitar on fire, because he was, you know, he was taking B.B. King licks, and then you start to go back and you trace to where the music began, and that's a real cool thing, you know, when you go to the start and you say, wow, it branched out into all these really neat sounds and soul and R&B and funk and you know, but I think if you go back to blues and gospel, that's really where it all started.
And I mean, we talked about this once before, and I was it still just boggles my mind, and it kind of hurts my heart that these blues artists, you know, will never be, they were never compensated the way they should have been. And all their music, you know, like Van Halen has swiped 3 or 4 songs that they have made hits out of, Ice Cream Man and all of them. But a lot of bands have done that. And it's just sad that it took 40, 50 years for a rock and roll band to take a blues artist song and turn it into a rock song and then capitalize on it, you know?
You know, blues guys and ladies have been ripped off, but so have so many other people.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like in the music business, the thing is, you know, we love this so much,
Right.
and the industry knows. So it's like, hey, do you want to play 10 one-hour sets for $45? Sure, I love the music, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, where if you're an accountant, hey, do you want to do my taxes? No, you're gonna have to pay me a lot of money to do it because I don't want to do this.
I know.
And I think that's really what it comes down to. So. But yeah, a lot of people have been ripped off, and you know, like people like Eric Clapton were always really cool in giving credit to
Right,
where it
definitely,
came from.
definitely.
And some other acts were a little bit, when it came to the writing credits, less cool.
Right.
But at the
Smaller
end of the
print.
Yeah, or later
No
law
print.
litigation. But you know, but also too with music, it evolves. You know, it's like. Nobody is really truly original. You take what you hear, you synthesize it, and you put your own stamp on it.
Right.
And sometimes that footprint is bigger than others. But it's sort of just like one of the things I love about the blues and roots music is you honor those who came before you.
Right.
Like every time I sing, on my shoulders are all the men and women that came before me, the
Right.
B.B. Kings and the Etta James and you know, Eddie Van Halen or
Right.
whoever. And I'm, every night I'm out there, I'm singing and I'm keeping what they did alive and passing it on to a new generation. You know, there's a lineage. There's fathers and sons and mothers and daughters.
Legacies.
Legacies.
And you
yes.
have a legacy in your band. Daryl White's son
Yes.
is your drummer.
He
Daryl
is.
White, the drummer.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a legacy right there. I ran into Chris this last week. I said, "Are you going to be on my show?" He says, "No, just Anthony." Okay, I'll see you later. No, he's a sweet guy.
He's, well,
How did you find him? How did you guys find each other? Because he's awesome.
well, he knows our bass player, Jacob.
Oh,
And,
okay.
I met Jacob through my guitar tech who works at a place called Driftwood Music.
Yes.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. Oh, no.
St.
That's
Charles,
awesome.
Missouri, Driftwood Music.
Who's the guitar tech? You got to give him props.
All you have to do is walk into the store and say, "Hey, Pete," because
Yeah.
everybody will say yes. They're all named Pete there. But anyway, Jacob was friends with this guitar tech friend of mine, Pete.
Right.
And then Jacob and Chris played together.
Yes.
And so we were looking for a drummer, and Jacob said, well, I know a guy.
I know a guy.
And I will say this, they're both St. Louis natives.
Yes.
They're both extremely talented,
Yes.
hardworking, great guys. You can have a band of ringers,
Right.
okay? And these guys are definitely ringers. They're
Yes.
definitely awesome players. But you want to kill each other.
Right.
You know, it's not about the
not
90 minutes
fun.
on
Right.
stage. It's the 22 other hours you're in a bus rolling down the road. And we've left a keyboard player once at the gas station. And you know, people know. It's just like, these people, you're so ignorant. We are leaving you at the Flying J in Lincoln, Nebraska. Good luck getting home.
Sometimes you have to do that.
You know, for your own, it's for your own survival. No.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
but the
Did he
great thing-
learn a lesson, do you think? Is he still there?
I don't know. He's probably harassing some band in Nebraska. The great thing about Chris and Jacob, both of them, and is that they're just great guys. The hang is really good.
Yeah.
And their work ethic is very unmillennial like. They are
Right.
really, you know, and always eager to learn, and all of us are. And
Right.
that's just a really cool thing when you got a group of people that, man, we can do it better next time. How are we going to do that? Okay, well, let's try this or that. It's great, great to see another generation with Chris and his dad, you know.
Oh yeah, oh my God, I just love those guys. I mean, I've known them forever, but yeah. So I'll go one better. That millennial generation that's all about me, me, me. He said nothing bad. He just raved on and on about you. He said, man, he's the best guy I've ever worked with. We get along so well. And I'm like, and that's where it is. You know, when the band gels, it's like such a great cohesive bond that nobody can touch it. It makes the music sound better. The shows are more fun. I mean, it's just a blast. And it's just one of those things, you know. I think that helps with crowds and just everybody getting involved because they see that on stage. They can read that. They can feel it.
You know, and anybody who's been on the road or worked a job that you had to travel knows that it's exciting. There's lots of highs. Oh, wow, here I am at where, you know, here's the biggest ball of yarn.
Right.
Oh my God, this is so cool. And then there's really low points, you know, 'cause it's like, oh gosh, I'm in another hotel.
Right.
Oh wow, Burger King again. Wow,
Right.
for the 7th meal in a row.
Right.
Subway, you know. So things can get taxing. But if you're with a group of people that you all get along, when you got a flat tire on the road, when things aren't going well, you sort of all just laugh and you get on. Now, if you're with people who are not agreeable or are energy suckers.
Or keyboard players.
Yeah, sorry, keyboard players. I know there's probably 2 or 3 really good keyboard players out there, but the other 99,000 of them are ruining it for y'all. No, it's just, you know, that dark energy. If you have that on the road with you, or people that are not in the light or whatever, when something bad happens, it's like, oh my gosh, we're never gonna recover from this
Right.
flat tire.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always going to be his fault. It's his fault.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know it is. I've heard some of those horror stories, and yeah, the keyboard player left at the Flying J was a nicer one. Trust
Yeah,
me,
right.
I have heard some really bad ones. Oh, geez. So, and you know, it's really tough when the ones do stick it out with the one that is making it difficult for everybody else.
Yeah.
And that just makes the trip oodles and oodles longer.
Yeah. So
even
luckily for
imagine.
us, knock on wood, you know, we're very fortunate at this time that the guys are really cool. We're making great music and we're putting smiles on people's faces, especially in a time where they need that.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's really great.
That is great. A memory popped up on my Facebook when ticket sales went on sale for you in 2017, in August 2017, because you were doing a show in November at the Old Rock House.
Oh wow.
I've seen that. That don't you love the Old Rock House?
I
Now,
love
that
the Old
is a
Rock
cool
House.
venue.
Yes.
That is a very cool venue. You would think walking into this building of stone that it would just be, the acoustics would be horrible. They're not.
Yeah.
It is just, I just love that venue. That's one of my favorites.
It's a great venue. St. Louis has a lot of really cool venues, and that's certainly maybe in the city our favorite place to play. You know.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
It's not too big, not too small. I think it's just right, especially with the balcony and just the whole ambiance of the place. It just has a really good feel.
Yeah.
Have you played Charlotte Pub yet?
I have not.
You should pop in on a jam night.
Okay.
People would freak out.
Okay.
All the best musicians show up at Charlotte Pub.
All right.
RFT voted it the best dive bar in St. Louis. But it has a great sound. It's not a huge bar, but it's like I call it our Charlotte like a go-go, because it's like there's so many people that have been hanging out there so many years. It's just a melting pot of different souls that just all have one thing in common. We all love the music, you
Yeah.
know, so we all accept each other for the way they are, you know. People want to come in and set their hair on fire. Oh, it's just him again.
Right.
You know, so it's no big deal.
Music people are, and it doesn't even matter what genre. Music
Right.
people are a strange group of misfits, but I feel like they're just really deep people, and you get all sorts of folks from different walks of life,
Mm-hmm.
and they come together for the love of the music, and that's really cool.
They get it.
Yeah, they get it, and I've met so many cool people through music
Mm-hmm.
that I would have not had the privilege of meeting
Mm-hmm.
otherwise. You know, different walks of life, ages, genders, ethnicities, whatever, and all of a sudden you're meeting all these cool people and experiencing neat things. You know.
Yeah, very cool. So do you do all your own booking, or are you doing all this yourself, or do you have somebody that handles a lot
We
of that?
have, we have management, and we
Oh,
had
good.
a booking agency for a while, but we're in between agencies now. And
Come on in.
I see we have other
Yes.
guests walking in.
Tammy Sue Bellman is in the house. Here we go, Tammy. There's your
Oh,
audience. Come on in. This is Anthony.
Hey.
Don't be shy. Have a seat.
Yeah.
Here's your dinner.
Thank you, honey.
Oh,
Maybe
very good.
dinner. You want some of
No,
these stuffed
thank you.
shells?
No, thank you though.
Yeah.
I made Jello for you.
Did you? Thank you.
I know you like them. Watch out for the camera. I was telling
Hey.
him, besides me, you're the other super fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait till Saturday.
Oh, I can't wait too. I
I
can't
know.
wait
It's
too.
gonna be so much fun.
Did you know
Yeah.
Claudia Rose is opening for him?
Who?
Claudia Rose.
Oh yeah.
And,
You're gonna love her. She's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, she is. She's
Yeah.
a great kid, for sure. So you have a management company. Now, are you in the middle of? Are you going to leave Sunday, or what are you doing? I mean, this right now you live here, so
live
it's
here.
easy to do this gig.
Yeah.
But I mean, are you guys on the road again next week, or?
Friday we're in Little Rock, Arkansas. So we're going to Little Rock playing and then coming back home and playing. So yeah. So anyone who wants to come to Little Rock on Friday,
Road trip.
yeah.
We're all piling in your bus.
There we go.
How many roadies do you really need?
As many as possible. 100.
Yeah, because you have to do all your own humping, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. For
Right.
sure.
That's okay.
It keeps you humble.
Yes, it does. It does. I work for Local 6, so yes, I know. But I mean, it is fun, and I love that job, just because all the guys I work with, we all love the music, and we love building shows and taking them down and all that, just because it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's like being part of it.
Yeah.
To me, working a show is better than being in the audience, just because it's like you're part of it.
Yes.
You know, it's just neat. And then we get to hear all the cool music from the other side.
Yeah.
So, you know. And we won't talk about the green room parties, right?
No. That's a thing of the past. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That was back before Facebook, thank God. So how long have you been playing?
She's about 22 years.
What got you started?
Um,
Did you grow up in a music household, or was something you picked up
Nah,
from
but
school?
There
or?
was tinkering in the house. My dad tinkered on the mandolin or the guitar, but there wasn't really music in my immediate family. My great grandparents were both professional musicians.
Well, I guess
Yeah. My great grandmother played piano in the silent movies, and my
Really?
great grandfather was a vocalist, and they met in Buffalo, New York.
Very cool.
Even though we're Canadian,
Oh,
they met in New
Canada.
York. Yes. On
I
the
don't have an
border.
"Oh Canada" button. Sorry.
Oh, I'm out of here.
I'll
I'm
put that
outta
in for
here.
next time. See, Tweezy, fix that. Would you?
Yeah. So in that part there is music, but my parents both loved music, but very different. My mom was into like Elvis and the Beatles and Patsy Cline. And,
She was a rocker chick.
yeah, rocker chick. My dad was like into Brahms and Beethoven and sort of classical stuff. But
That's cool.
yeah, but it was cool. It was great, and music was encouraged. until I said, "Hey, I want to do this for a living."
Uh-oh, you're out of the well.
Yeah, dun dun dun.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's
Yeah.
but you at least had all that different kinds of music, different genres that you grew up with, so
Yes.
you can appreciate it more as far as, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Very
Yeah,
cool.
and the city I grew up in, Toronto, was very multi-ethnic.
Yes,
the
I've heard that.
Yeah, so we were hearing like traditional Croatian music or Portuguese music or Indian music, sitars or whatever. So you were hearing all this stuff, and roots music is roots music. I mean,
Right.
it's somebody's expression and soul coming out, and hearing all these different flavors was really a cool experience.
Sounds like it. Man, that would be so awesome. And you picked up some of that.
Yes, I think that it's just natural that you would, and I think what it sort of teaches you is that things may seem different on the surface, but when you bring them down to the lowest common denominator, they're the same. One gentleman I really love is a singer named Bobby McFerrin. He's an a cappella vocalist,
Right,
and a really talented guy. So what he would do is he would bounce up and down, and he would sing a tone, and then he would go to the next. He would sing the first three tones, and then he would bounce, and the audience would sing the tones without him singing. And he said, out of all the scales, the blues scale is the one that everybody in the world knows. It's the simplest,
Right.
but they can understand those intervals. So whether you're in India, China, Japan, Canada, United States, they understand those intervals and those notes. So
How amazing is that?
that's pretty cool. I was like, this guy's pretty damn awesome. Yeah.
Wow, what a smart guy.
Yeah.
To figure that out
Yeah.
and just make one more thing for everybody to get involved when music's playing, whatever it is. So I mean, it's I've said this before, it's like, how awesome is it when the audience is singing your songs back to you when you're playing?
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
That's humbling. That's got to be, I mean, it gives me a chill when I think about it, just because I've seen it, and I don't remember who the first artist I talked to about that, but he just said you just can't even describe how awesome that is.
I
you
mean,
know?
what goes through my head is maybe I don't have to go back to college and get a computer degree. Maybe this might be happening. So,
Well, you've only been out there 20 years.
yeah, no.
I mean, you've heard Alan Jackson's story. He camped out there, him and his wife in Nashville. It took 10 years for him to get discovered.
Yeah.
She was about to leave him. They were living in their car, and they were, they had no money and all this, but he got discovered. So,
Yeah.
I just can't believe that, you haven't yet as far as further than what you are.
Well,
Just
thank you.
because, you definitely have, you've got it.
Well,
You've
thank
got it. We just talked about Chris.
Huh, do I?
We just talked about Chris.
Yeah.
Daryl's
Chris
son.
White. Yeah. You know where I saw him last weekend?
Where?
At the float trip in festival
Was he there?
in Waynesville, Missouri.
He was in a float trip?
No, he was playing with
oh.
Scully Nelson.
Oh, wow.
He's playing with
And
Scully
I know
Nelson.
Scully Nelson really well. Well, Josh Witt, I know him very, very well. And Chris goes, Tammy, I see you at the most oddest places. I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was playing with them out
That's
there.
cool.
It was cool.
Billy Nelson does a lot of like Grateful
It's like
Dead.
reggae, rock
yeah,
smash
reggae.
together.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
They're really good. But
Well,
no, this
that's
was
high energy, upbeat.
this was the greatest float, right?
Yeah,
And how many people showed up at this place?
probably about 300.
300 people. So this couple, they have this. They call it the greatest. They used to. What was it called? Hose and blow or something? What was it he
Floating
called it?
hose.
Floating
Wow.
hose.
Floating hose.
Something like that.
Floating hose.
That's an O's, yeah.
Floating hose.
So they got this brainstorm, and they have this the greatest float on earth. They have this one weekend. It's just you just camp out and you float the river and party on.
They had like
Wayne.
20 plus bands. And,
Yeah.
I mean, they had all different kinds of music. It was, and like the last night there, they played till 6 a.m.
Very cool.
And
You
then
sure
shut
they're
off
not
fi-
still
and then
playing?
shut off fireworks. I was sleeping in my tent, and the fireworks woke me up. I mean, they were shooting off fireworks at the end, I guess. It was crazy.
You sure they're not still playing?
I was not up. I was sleeping.
No.
I was,
No, still playing now.
Oh, wait a
Did
minute,
anybody?
what?
You sure they're not still playing now?
no, they're not.
Yeah. She'd be there if they
I'd
were.
be there.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I go to festivals, I'm in my happy place.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So much fun.
Everybody's there for the same reason. You know, and it's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So after Little Rock, and where are you going after this? Besides Diamond.
The next week we're headlining a festival in Ocean City, Maryland.
Oh.
It's a huge festival called the Jellyfish. We're the headline act Saturday night. Brad Paisley's headlining Sunday.
Oh, very cool. And he's a super nice guy. Have you ever met him?
I have not met Brad Paisley.
Wait till you meet him. He is just, you can't get any more down to earth and more southern than Brad Paisley.
Right. Well, he's a wonderful guitar player and a great artist.
He's
so.
a really nice guy. He
Yeah.
really, really is.
And then the night after that, we're in Newton, Iowa.
Really?
Which is just outside of Des Moines.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And we're doing the Bowl Full of Blues,
Oh,
which is
very
a
cool.
festival. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
So it's nice to squeeze in a few festivals this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
This is the season for it, for
it
sure.
is, yes.
Have you played the Blues Museum yet?
No, we haven't done the Blues Museum.
Because
but-
they have that al fresco thing outdoors.
Okay.
It's like in between the Blues Museum. It's not really an alley, but it's an outdoor concert.
Okay.
But they used to do like Soulful Sundays and stuff like that. But I think with the COVID,
I think they're starting
Yeah.
back up.
Are they starting back
Yeah,
up?
I saw it on Facebook.
Have you been in the Blues Museum yet?
I have, yes.
How
it's
cool is
wonderful.
that?
It's
They were
very
saying
cool.
how it's outside and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also that boat on the river, the riverboat, Sunset Cruises or something. or
Oh
something
yeah.
like that, too.
The Delta Queen.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
they're
thing.
starting back up too.
Yeah, they do the Blues Cruise. You should get on that. Jeremiah Johnson's on it every year.
Who's that?
Well,
kid
he
that-
can't be hogging it every year.
Well,
Jeremiah.
He's there.
A lot, you know.
Yeah, you should get on the roster and play that thing because
This,
it's fun.
Yeah.
This Thursday, who's that girl that she always plays with him, with Jeremiah? She's doing it this Thursday. I forgot her
It's
name.
not Samantha Fish.
Yes, it is.
It's Samantha.
Yes.
Okay.
Amanda
Saman-
Fish,
She's
maybe?
doing it
No,
this Thursday.
Samantha.
Okay.
Samantha Fish.
Amanda is her sister. and
Yes.
I met her at the Blues what is it in Memphis? The Blues Challenge.
Yeah.
I met her there and I was like, oh my God, she's phenomenal.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's so shy though, and I said, you've got to come on my show. Okay. But when she gets up on stage, she's just, wow. I'm like, holy crap, she is.
Yeah.
She really is.
So is it
Yeah.
Amanda doing it or Samantha?
Probably Samantha.
Okay.
Maybe unless he got Amanda to get up and do
I
it.
think it's Amanda.
Is it Amanda?
Yeah.
That would be even
Like
better.
the bigger, the more famous
Dark. She's
one?
got dark. No, that's Samantha. Samantha's the blonde. Amanda's the
The
brunette.
blind is playing.
Samantha.
The blonde. I've never seen her before. But
The
I've heard
she
she's
she
really good.
she
Yeah,
did a
she's-
lot of gigs with
Yeah.
Devin.
Yes.
Yeah,
Devin
her
Allman.
yeah her and Devin did a bunch of gigs, and I think she played with Mike Zito a couple times too.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
have you met Samantha?
Yes, we just did a show 2 weeks ago in Montana.
Cool.
I like her little square guitar.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
She makes a, she
cigar
makes a
guitar.
sound come out of that like, oh, is it coming out of that little bitty thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. I mean, lots of talent in that family for sure.
Yes.
Amanda's very underrated, and I wish that she was out there more because her talent is just amazing.
Yeah, she'll get there. I mean, it's just she's doing her own path and doing her own thing. But yeah, two very talented young ladies for sure.
Definitely. Have you been to the Blues Challenge in Memphis? Have you seen that?
I've been in the past and hung out, and yeah, it was cool.
Why don't you get in it?
Oh,
There's only 250 some odd acts
Yeah.
competing against each other, even from Canada.
I know. Yeah, I don't think that we could qualify just by where we are in our career, or they have certain stipulations. It's more for up and coming acts. So if you've had a record deal or some things like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea because I mean I've seen all kinds. We won. St. Louis actually won one year, and I can't remember what the lady's name is. It was so and so in the High Seas.
Okay.
They won. I mean, they have like 9 people in their band,
Right.
and when they sang, when they did their number, it was like it literally blew my hair back. They were so freaking amazing.
Yes.
They were just so. They were different than everybody else. They were just had a great sound, and I thought, man, I hope. Yeah, that was like out of 247 acts. Yeah, they took first place. I mean, the tears that came off that stage, it were just all the hugging and just, it was awesome. It was great to see little old St. Louis win that.
Yes.
Because I lived in Memphis for 12 years, so I know the lay of the land down there. So it was just like nice to go back and say, yeah, we're taking this with us.
There
You know?
you go. When did you live in Memphis?
I lived in Memphis from '84 until '95.
Wow.
Yes, that was when I was married and had kids.
There you
I
go.
kept the kids, left the old man.
Right.
Because Memphis wasn't big enough for
Right,
both of
right.
us. It still isn't. That was a long time ago, but
Right.
it's all good. How about you? Any kids? Any
Uh,
legacies for you?
So far, none that I know of. Yes.
Are you sure? Have you
Is
donated?
anybody really ever
Have you
sure?
donated to 23andMe yet? Let's see how many relatives come out of the woodwork. Yeah, that's it.
No, there have been no emails about little Johnny needing braces or a bicycle
Right.
yet.
You used a
so-
different name, didn't you?
Yeah,
Gave him
I
a different
did.
fake number.
I did.
I already
Chris
know.
Whited, that's the name I used. Yeah, no.
Is that my phone?
Yeah. It's getting wild in here. Yeah. You notice how you mentioned the legacy and then the phone started to go crazy.
30 minutes. Yeah, see?
Mm.
Somebody.
Saved by the bell. Saved by the bell.
He didn't say that. Take it back.
Yeah.
Take it back. Take it back. All right, let's see. Let me listen down. So, Tammy, what do you want to ask him? I told him that I shy you got. Oh my God, all people are looking. Go, 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 go. Now, Tweezy's broadcasting this. It's on YouTube and then through his feed, which is mycitymymusic.com or Soldier by Blood, which is Tweezy's site. I don't know. Is it both of them? Considered both of them, Tweezy? Yeah. And then I broadcast it on mine, but when he gets done, it
Okay.
looks better because it's like you'll see you, me, and Tammy, so it'll be all right.
Awesome.
Yeah. But it's fine.
You put the magic on it. You put the magic dust on top.
He makes it, he puts all the magic dust on
Right.
it.
He makes it work.
He does. He's the man.
Right.
He is the man.
Right on.
But see, they're already defrosting.
Oh shit.
The best part is get busy, sister. So then you're going. So you're doing all the Midwest tour. What was the? Do you have a favorite city or a favorite venue that you like to play when you guys go out? Because I know you probably got repeat. That like you're on a rotation as far as certain venues. Because you know most of them they want to play out 6 weeks or a couple months or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Usually, sometimes you book a gig early, but you need at least 6 weeks to 8 weeks to promote a show, get the word
Right,
out.
right.
Because we'd be playing like Springfield, Missouri, and then we play twice a year, and somebody'd be like, "Man, so good you're back. You haven't been here in 7 years."
Right.
I'm like, "We've been here 14 times in the last. Where have you been? I didn't know." And, and it's like, well, it's all been all over every social media network on our website. So you need a little time to get the word out for people to know about it. Like we're at the Diamond this Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah. Woohoo.
The
But no,
28th.
the 28th. Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And you know what you're going to hear a lot of? That. They're going to go with you.
They're hired. Yes.
Yes. Like I said, they're cheap. They just work for music.
Cheap and easy. That's how we like it. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So do you have a favorite venue out there? I mean, like any state or city or country that you like to play? Have you been back home to play?
Yeah. I love to play in. If we're talking North America, I love French Canada, the province of Quebec. I think they have the best audiences in North America because a lot of times you either get an audience that likes to party and they're going crazy, but they're kind of not really paying attention, or then you get these audiences that are quiet, but you're
They
like,
don't dance.
yeah, they don't do anything, and
do
you're like,
nothing.
God, they didn't have a great time, and then you get done and
Yeah.
they're raving about your show, and you're like, oh, they were sitting down paying attention. Well, French Canadian audiences go crazy and pay attention at the same time.
That's awesome.
So it's that Latin blood, yeah. So and not only that, but my mom's family is from that side. So here's a testament to the power of the music. We played the Montreal Jazz Festival, which is pretty cool.
That is a huge event.
Yeah,
That is
so
awesome.
we had about 15,000 people at our show. And my mom's side of the family, you know how families can be. They hate each other. Well,
Right,
it's like,
right. It's worse
two
than
sides.
keyboard players.
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah,
like, we
yeah.
got keyboard players and everybody else. But that gig was so cool that the whole family came out.
Oh.
Now, mind you, one side of the family was on stage right, the other was on stage left, but they all were there, and the music brought them together. So I have really good memories about doing Montreal
No chair
Jazz.
throwing or no
they-
drinks thrown and no fighting or
No,
anything.
they're too polite and Canadian for
Oh.
that.
So do you speak that broken French?
I do. I speak redneck
Wow.
French, yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's worse probably in New Orleans. Have you heard him down there?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I have.
That's a mixture of coon ass and broken French and God knows what all. It's crazy.
Yeah,
But they are fun.
yes. Oh, yes.
Nolans is just, it doesn't matter if a hurricane went through there, they don't care. They
Yeah.
just keep on going.
Well, that's very much the French Canadian thing. They call it the joie de vivre, which in English means living life, the joy of life,
Right.
the joy of living, And they have that, It's like, okay, my rent's $800. I have $820 in my pocket. Let's go out drinking,
Right.
And let's go have a
Exactly.
good time. Let's celebrate life. Let's English Canada is a little bit different than that. It's more, oh, okay, well, let's pay the rent and take the $20 and invest it, where,
Right.
yeah, but I love French Canada. I go visit my mom and there'll be a Thursday night jam and there'll be like a lot of people hanging out and it gets done at 1, okay? But then everybody's like, well, what are you doing after? I mean, in St. Louis, 1 o'clock, I mean, you're in bed by 11, right? But so over there, it's like, what are you doing? They go out and go to a restaurant till 4 a.m. and keep drinking. And then, they go home, get 3 hours sleep, and go to work. God bless them.
Yeah, but before COVID, we were doing that.
Right.
Because, the jam's done at, like, there's certain venues that they'll play till 2:30 in the morning.
Okay, well, that's
we
good.
hang out, and then we go sit at Denny's or go bother somebody else or, stay up all night long. And, yeah. I mean, we used to do that.
There are some, yes, there are.
There are a few. And back in the day, when it was 24/7 for everything, I worked on the Landing. Then we went to the Oz, and then we went to Pops,
Right.
and went home, took a nap, and started all over
Yeah,
again.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I know. Were you here then, or off and on?
No,
or
I've only been in St. Louis since about 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
What made you decide to move to the Midwest?
Well, I
'Cause
moved
that's
to,
a huge culture shock.
Well, I moved to Chicago from Canada because of the
Chicago.
blues scene,
Right,
and
right.
that was really cool. A lot of legendary folks to watch, learn, talk, grow,
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to Nashville when it was cool, before the new Nashville.
Right.
And I wanted to learn more about songwriting and the art of that. And then in Nashville, I met 2 musicians that were from St. Louis, and they were in the process of moving to Nashville. And then I was like, well, I'll just move to St. Louis since you're over here.
Right.
And I love St. Louis. I've absolutely loved it. I just like the people. I like the Midwest thing. It's a big city, but it's not too big. It's not like Chicago or Toronto.
Right.
It's got a hockey team. I mean, come on. What is it?
We do have a
Yeah,
hockey
you
team.
do, yeah. So,
Canada doesn't.
Yeah.
Canada does not have a hockey
no,
team.
we
you
haven't
know?
had one in a long time.
Yeah, but so you've been here 10 years, and you were talking about, yeah, we do have a too many cover bands, but not enough apparently. But that's what does sell and I believe that people like the cover bands because, when the '80s exploded, every band out there had a gig. And there was always somebody had a gig or a gimmick or both or whatever, and it just blew the scene up.
Right.
And here in St. Louis, it was the same, but in St. Louis, we had more original music being played. Like the Urge could play down the Landing, and people were busting out the seams to get there to watch the Urge play their original music, or Porcelain Blind Mice, or whatever. Any band, there was a lot of original bands that were playing King of the Hill, Broken Toys.
Right, yes, yeah.
All these great bands that had original music.
Divine, yeah.
Pale Divine. Oh man, those guys are freaking awesome. But I mean, and then it just slowly evolved where now they have certain venues that there's original music, and a few of those have closed up.
Right.
But all in all the musicians from way back when, they've all split up. They're in other bands. But have you been in a city yet that has as many venues and as many musicians that play as much as they do here. I haven't seen. I mean, before COVID, every venue in this town is booked up with some kind of music.
Well, there are a lot of great musicians in St.
Oh,
Louis,
yeah.
and
Yep.
I understand you have to do what you have to do.
Right.
You know, you need a gig, and whether it's a cover band or not,
Right.
you know, my fault, or if I'm going to be critical, it's not of the musicians, because they
No.
are super talented,
Oh, yeah.
and they're doing what they need to do to pay the bills.
Exactly.
And more power to them, and anybody who wants to make a living playing music.
Sure.
That being said, why did everybody go see these other bands back in the day? Because it was the cool thing to do. I mean, let's be honest. People want to have a good time.
Right.
They want to hook up.
Right.
They want to do crazy
Right.
things. They want to have fun.
Right.
And what's being sold as fun now is, well, let's go see your favorite musicians do a Led Zeppelin tribute, and let's go see a Pink Floyd tribute, and let's go see a Beatles tribute,
Right.
and a Stevie Ray Vaughan tribute. And now that's marketed as the fun thing to do, so everybody goes and does that. But I would like to see more emphasis on original music.
Right.
I bet some of those bands, well, at least I didn't live here at the time, but in the other towns I lived in, the radio would play local bands.
Right. And
They did.
They did, for sure.
And, you know, so it was like, and there was the idea that, oh man, you know, we had some bands growing up in Toronto that were real popular, and you'd hear them on the radio, and you go, this band's gonna make it, and I'm gonna, just like you talked about, you like to be part of the show because
Right.
you feel a part of it.
Oh, yeah.
You as an audience member said, I'm here while this band's gonna make it, man.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
I'm part of the reason they're gonna make it. That felt great. Or as they succeeded, you succeeded.
Right.
And you have a
Exactly.
community of people. There are, you know, we've got this dude Ralph who comes to so many of our shows. He's got the top hat on. I'm sure you know who he is. Like
Yes.
he's a staple. Or there's Beetle Bob that comes to a lot
Right,
of
right,
shows.
right.
And well, you'd have all these characters come out, and we'd have our version. In Toronto, there was a guy named Diz, and he'd always be rocking like he was dizzy, you know. But, you know, and you'd see all these people, and it was like this congregation of people
Right.
coming together to support original music, art, poetry reading. There used to be like people that would paint stuff while the
Sure.
bands were playing. It was this artistic expression. And now, maybe the audience is for live music has gotten older. Maybe it's sort of like, well, I want to go see something that I know,
I'm familiar with.
But at the same time, people go to where the party is.
Right.
And I think if the powers that be made the party more about original music, I would be curious to see what would happen.
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, people are going to do what is successful. If I'm, let's say, a drummer in a band, and bands that are selling out are doing tribute shows,
Right.
well, then I'm going to put together a tribute band
Right.
because I need to pay the bills.
Exactly.
If it's an original thing, well, then I'm going to start playing drums in an original band
Right.
and push my creativity and make my own mark. You know, what I find is a lot of great musicians from St. Louis have to leave St. Louis and they move to Nashville or go to other places because that's the way they're going to make it. And
Exactly.
I would say St. Louis has a disproportionately high amount of talented
Oh, yeah.
musicians.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wish the scene was, people made a concerted effort. If you don't revitalize the creativity and the
Right.
original
Exactly.
thing, it's going to dry out, and then you're just going to be milking that cow to the, you know, till
Right.
it's done. And I feel like that's sort of what's happening. And I guess everybody's got their bottom line, and you know, the powers that be, you know, have to do what they have to do to pay their bills and keep the lights on and their advertisers happy. But boy, it would sure be nice for a big radio station in St. Louis to have a night of original music of 3 acts, which they thought were really great. That's what they used to do back in the day with
They
Bill
used to,
Graham.
yeah.
You know, and
Yes.
and you'd have like Frank Zappa and Albert King, like
Yes.
two weird and people
Right.
would go just to check out the music, and it would be great for St. Louis and you know, the movers and shakers in this town,
Right.
to take a little bit more responsibility for creating a musical culture that was worthy of the wonderful and talented musicians here.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I feel like they are doing the musicians a disservice.
Yes.
You know,
They don't realize that they need it more than they want it.
yeah.
It's really neat. I mean, back in the day when when they first started out, they played all those deep cuts,
Right.
which was great. And then they had, the Seeds albums, and they had, original music they were playing on Sundays. They don't do a whole lot, but they have a sister station, which is the point, that they do play original music. But then again, that original music is getting where they're only playing the top plays. They
Right.
should play all 10 songs or all 3 or whatever they got. Play all of it, give it all some good airtime. Because there's a lot of deep cuts on artists that nobody's ever heard before. They don't even realize April Wine. Wow,
Right.
the underrated band.
Right.
They've got deep cuts on. Bands will play their songs, and is that one of yours? No, that's April Wine.
Right.
Why? Because we haven't heard it.
Canadian band. Yeah.
What? I didn't say that.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah. And I think that shit rolls downhill. And I
Yeah.
think that if they would go back, I mean, Casey's changed the format so many times, but they have to go with what pays.
Right.
Like you said. But the good thing about all the cover songs and the songs we do hear over and over again, it is helping our legacies play, because they're going, man, I'm 16, I love Pink Floyd, I want to play that song. Or, I love Eddie Van Halen, I want to do this, which is great. It's a great start, but they need to not be blinders on thinking those are the only songs you can do.
Well, a radio
Play
station.
more.
A radio station's job is not to keep you as a listener engaged and happy.
I know.
Their job is for you not to turn the dial.
Right.
So to be, how can I put that? To be entertained enough that you're not going to change.
Right.
So they sort of have to play these same songs. That works, and that's the best way to do things.
Right.
I have a small playlist, exhausted, because, I've heard a whole lot of Love by Led Zeppelin a billion times, but I'll hear it a billion and one.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it comes at a cost.
Mm-hmm.
It's a short-term gain, but if you're not feeding the system back,
Right.
the system's going to whittle and die. And I think they're thinking, hey, our listenership is 50 to 70.
Right.
We're going to ride this out till it's done.
Exactly.
But it's like, yeah, but there's people 50, 40, 30, 20
Mm-hmm.
that want new music, that want, want to, and look, talking about, say, Keishi, that's putting a lot on them as one group
Right.
and one station. And
I know.
but I think as a community as a whole, maybe if we all got together and talked about how to better do this,
Right.
that would probably be the best way to solve this. And then, I can hear people say, well, it's supply and demand, and the demand's not there. Yeah,
Right.
okay, but let's try to find a sexy way to market original music.
Exactly. I mean, just one step at a time, and it's just gonna. I just remember, like I said, back in the 80s and 90s when original music was it was in the mainstream, but then all of a sudden, big business took over, and then it just started kind of getting weeded out, which was really sad. And people just don't realize it. Like you said, they just don't realize that you got to have it.
Well, here's the cool thing. It's the internet and YouTube and social media that's now taking over from the radio. And shows like yours are now penetrating people's consciousness. So it's sort of like back in the FM radio days
Right.
in the 60s and 70s. But it's not radio, it's you and you guys. So you are sort of the gatekeepers of the truth, and if people want to be so inclined to tune in, the truth does resonate. So keep doing what you're doing.
Well, you keep making music.
Oh,
No
okay.
covers.
All right.
Stay here.
Yeah. I love St. Louis. I'm not going anywhere.
So is it difficult to get? I mean, so you have what? Do you have like how does it work as far as you being Canadian and living here? Do you have like a work visa?
Yeah,
I don't know how it works.
I'm
with all that.
illegal. No, I'm not.
I mean, or do you? I mean, you don't have a dual citizenship?
I don't. I've maintained my Canadian citizenship. I'm very proud of being Canadian. I think one day I will become American because I've just been here so long. Sort of like my mom is French and my dad's Portuguese, and I feel at home with either ethnicity because that's what I grew up with.
Right.
I started off Canadian. I'm Canadian till the day I die. But I've also been in America long enough that when I go to Canada, I go home. When I come back to the States, I've come back home too.
Right. That's cool.
So yeah,
What are the differences growing up in Canada? So you went to high school, and is it the same as like a mirror image? I mean, what are the major differences between Canada and America other than the metric system, and it's more expensive up there for everything?
Right.
What is there any really major differences?
They're legal across the board too, though.
well,
Yeah.
Talking about
Right.
they're legal.
Right.
Get it?
Yeah. They're legal.
uh,
Yeah.
well, I would say that Canada is sort of like a combination of Europe and the United States. Or it's not as European as Europe,
Right.
and it's not as American as the U.S. There are different fundamental philosophies. America believes in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which means the right of the individual
Right.
over the collective. Canada believes in peace, order, and good government, which means the rights of the collective supersede that of the individual. So what's good for the whole of society is better than one person's right.
Right.
So we have things like socialized medicine.
You got
and
all kinds
education.
of really good stuff.
Yeah, they
Well,
do.
you know, when
Canada does.
right now you can go to a school that's the equivalent of Harvard for $5,000 or $6,000 a year.
Right.
Where it's 10 times or more that here.
Right.
Canadians cannot fathom how Americans pay $30,000 to $50,000 a year for tuition.
Neither
college
can
tuition.
we.
You know, but with that comes higher taxes. Also, you know, and we believe in for instance, another difference is in America, you have differences locally in school districts. In Canada, no. You can go to school in one district or the other, and they have the same amount of money. They have the same standards of education. So there's no such thing as a good school district.
Right.
It's even. And the Canadian philosophy is you either put money in education or prison system, and we like to put it in education. A different philosophy. No place is.
Right.
Canada's got good things
Right,
and
right,
bad things.
right.
America does. France has good things and bad things.
Right.
But I would say that taxes are high, and I hate paying taxes.
Right.
I mean, they are much higher in Canada, but I would say that there's a bigger middle class. There's less poverty and less super rich people. And I would say that there's more access to education. And it's because it's smaller, you know, I think some things are a bit more performance based than, let's say, not everybody can afford to send their child to Princeton.
Right.
But in Canada, if the educational system is subsidized in some part, then hey, I can afford to send my kid to Princeton.
Right.
So I mean, but you know, there are pluses and minuses, and there's pitfalls everywhere. But I believe in both countries, if you have a desire to make it, you can. Yeah. So I mean,
Sounds like there's no stress there. It sounds like there's stress. I mean, I know Americans are like, woo, but I mean, it just sounds like you're telling me, you know, it just sounds more even keeled.
Well,
than, you know, we've got all these levels and.
the one statistic that I think is the most important, not always believing statistics, but Canadians live on average 3 years longer than Americans. So I think that's a pretty powerful statistic.
Definitely.
And I think it's, you know, I'll tell you, I've only had health care for about 5 or 6 years. I spent 20 years without health care. And I would go, do I need to go see a doctor? You know, is this mole cancerous? I don't know, but no, I'm not going to go. It's going to cost too much money.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm going to buy a big screen TV because I really want one. You know,
You need
whatever. Yeah. So, but yeah. So I think that's part of it. You know, that you're less afraid to go see a doctor or whatever. And some things are a little bit more environmentally conscious or what have you. So I think that's an important distinction. That hey,
Definitely.
you know. yeah, that's an interesting thing. I'm a proud Canadian, but I'm also very proud that I live in the United States. I'm very honored to be here. My closest and dearest friends are Canadians and Americans and people I know in Europe. You know, we were joking before, I feel like I'm a citizen of the world.
Right, right.
And, you know, I will say this. One thing I do love about America is that they are not afraid to be critical of their own country.
Oh,
you know, I mean, there are some countries, you talk smack on your country and nobody sees you again, you know. Where here, you can have
They
the
ship
power
them off to America, don't they?
if they're lucky. Or in a box somewhere, you know.
Right.
And we did a gig in Mexico a few years ago.
What part?
We were just south of Baja, Rosarita Beach, and you know, I was talking with some locals, and they're like, "Yeah, you know, 15 people were running for president, but 8 of them got shot." I was like, "Damn!"
I know.
You know,
I know.
here we're worried about voter fraud. You know,
Right.
there, I mean, they're just icing the,
We'll fix that.
Yeah, and
No dead voters there.
yeah, you know, and the poverty was intense. You know,
It's horrible. It's horrible.
so when I crossed the border in the United States, look, I don't like everybody who's been president. There's politicians I loathe.
Right.
But you know what? I would shake every one of their hands
Right.
after being in Mexico. And that's no disrespect to, you know,
Oh, I know.
anybody in Mexico. It was just what I experienced there. I understand why people want to be here, you know.
Definitely.
And as bad as it is here, I think if we all looked at, you know, part of my belief is if we looked at how other people did things, like that's how bands do it, right?
Right.
Oh man, Jimmy Page is a really good guitar player. What does he do? I want to learn from him.
Right.
You know, if we could learn from other countries what they do right and what we do better, and be open about it, and yeah, I'd love for that. But I tell you, we do talk a lot of smack in America about America.
Oh, yeah.
And it isn't perfect, but I tell you, man, you go to some other places and it's like,
I know, the third world countries. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, so I don't usually like to talk negative, but I know I said something about this a few months ago. There is a friend of mine from high school. We saw each other again at the reunion, our 40th, a couple years ago. Anyway, he works with his church a lot, and they do missionary work in Guatemala. And he said, listen to this band, and these kids are like 14, 15 years old. Their main guy, he goes by the name Elvis. I mean,
Right.
and Guatemala is the worse than Mexico as far as third world country poverty, the whole bit. He says, hey, do you know where we can get some instruments sent out to them? I said, sure. So our friends over at St. Charles Music House, Music Go Round, donated a drum set.
wow.
And they were going to take it with them on because they do this missionary visit every December, but they couldn't maneuver it on the plane because of it was last year they went, but with the COVID stuff, everybody was all like, you know, trying to limit packages and all this crap. So I'm just going to mail it, put it in the mail. Called a friend of mine who used to ships gear, musical instruments all over the world. I said, hey, can you get this? He said, well, it'd be cheaper if you just put it in the mail instead of having us ship it. Okay. Well, guess what? It's been sitting in customs for almost 8 months now. And the parents of the kids drove 6 hours to go pick up the drum set that's been sitting there in 6 boxes. I dismantled this drum set, the hardware. I threw in some T-shirts from some other bands, some CDs, new drumsticks, just a little care package to go with it. 6 boxes. They went to pick it up. Guatemalan government in customs is trying to charge them to get it, and I spent more money sending over a drum set that wasn't worth more than it cost me more to send it than what it was worth. And so I have to make a claim at the post office, 6 different claims for all 6 boxes, and if we don't get it back, then they claim it as a loss.
Wow.
And these poor kids can't. I mean, these people, their parents make like $400 a month.
Yeah.
That's their total income, and the Guatemalan government or customs is trying to charge them, and they made them open all the boxes, so they saw that it was an entire drum set.
Yeah.
And I said, you gotta be kidding me. Isn't that bullshit?
It is.
So anybody out there who's listening, you're going to help me with this, that would be great.
Anybody with big political ties in Guatemala.
Something,
please
anything. Where's your friends with Mexico and their guns? I think I need them.
They weren't my friends. Full disclosure, everybody, they were not my friends.
I don't know them. They just fell off a truck. No, but yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, it's sad that countries are like that. I don't, and then they want to know why people come to this country in droves just to get here to escape that kind of shit.
Yeah, yeah.
It just don't get me started on all that. So yeah, anybody.
So there's mad love for America.
Oh yeah.
And the great thing too about this country is the best is yet to come.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel like as long as there's a force to improve things and
Oh yeah,
and,
definitely.
and challenge ways of thinking, I think that's a positive thing.
Yeah, we definitely need world peace for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't understand why we can't get there. I really don't.
Well, yeah, I mean.
We can learn from dogs in kindergarten. If everybody paid attention, guess what?
I met this guy from India, and we had a conversation, and he said, you know, a friend of mine just went into a shelter and rescued a couple of dogs and cats, and he's taking care of them.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll let human beings just be
Die on
alone
the
on the
street.
streets. And he goes, I was like, wow, I never thought of that in those terms. But I will say this, there's all kinds of folks out there.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime I get burdened or bummed out about people that suck, there are so many wonderful people that are doing so many inspiring things.
Definitely.
And selfless acts of kindness. I guess it's sort of where you focus your energy.
Right.
And I want to be more like those people and
Right.
learn from those people.
Definitely.
Otherwise, you could just get bogged down. I mean, you literally could live your entire life thinking about how horrible this world is.
Right.
And you could. Or you could look to those who shine and be so motivated and inspired and live an entire life that way.
Paying it forward.
Yeah. It's not always easy.
No.
You know what I mean?
It isn't.
And I'll tell you, I have new respect for anybody that does customer service, because we have a website and we send out, people buy merch and
Right, sure.
we send it out. Man, let me tell you,
People bitch about it?
people, you
They
know, people,
complain.
and so I know people who work customer service, and I've had a little taste of it. You know, it's like, wow. So people can bum you out, man. They can really bum you out. But then next thing you know, somebody does something that's really cool. It's like, wow, okay, that's where I want to focus my
Right.
attention on. So
Yeah, when you do customer service, my background is I was in trucking for about 20 years, and I've done everything from dispatch to recruiting, and I had to do customer service once for an LTL carrier. And what they do is they like pick up freight, and then they bring it to another warehouse, they consolidate it, and then they take the one big load to wherever it's got to go to. So they have to pick and choose different things, on their warehouse to make it go to one place. And this lady called, and she was screaming and yelling at me because once a year she has this big tea party, and she orders these special cookies, and there's one pallet of cookies, and by the time she got them this time, they were all crumbs because some idiot in the warehouse put a engine or something on top of that pallet and just demolished it. This woman called me every name in the book when she called, screaming and yelling, and I was like, I just let her scream and yell because I knew she wasn't mad at me.
Right.
And then she started sobbing because it's my tea party and blah, blah, blah. I was like, hold on a minute. And I was like, we got to get this woman some cookies. I don't care if it's Girl Scout or whatever. Find her whatever she needs. We got it done. We got it shipped to her house. And then it was like 2 weeks later, she called and apologized. And I said, it's all right. So you kind of got to get in that mindset when you do it that they're not yelling at you.
right,
You didn't do it.
right.
But it does bum you out when they're blaming you for everything and the dog crapping on the floor or whatever, It's all your fault. So, yeah, it is what it is. But, so, I mean, I can't imagine you'd have anybody complaining about your merch.
Well, no, but
Was it how long it got there or something?
well, sometimes things happen, but if people are interesting, it's like, hi, I ordered my CD last week. and it's not here yet. And then you look, you ordered it last night. Like, I can tell.
Yeah.
I see. It says yesterday at 7:45
Right.
p.m. You know, but
Don't drink the bong water before you call me.
yeah. But and you know, with COVID,
Oh.
it was nuts. And some people experienced that at Christmas time.
Yes.
But literally, the President of the United States told the Postmaster General last summer to delay delivering some things because they were concerned about voter fraud that might be happening. in the
What?
future. Yes. I went
What
to
is
the
that got to
post
do with your
office.
CD?
I went to the post office, and they said, no, the Postmaster General said, some things have to be delayed. People experienced that at Christmas time. But what was happening was you get a tracking number.
Right.
So I would send the customer the tracking number, but the people at the post office weren't putting in the tracking number. So you get, and it says this is not a valid tracking number. Then I look like I'm pulling a fast one. And-
Voter fraud.
Oh my God! So I had this letter already typed up, and I just cut and pasted it.
Oh,
and,
no.
And what you would have to do is, it was like a bunch of steps for
Uh-huh.
them to find their stuff. And I mean, some things took 3 days, and sometimes it was like 6 weeks to get to somebody's place. And you know, I mean,
He is
That is
right.
that is
Yeah.
bizarre.
He is right, because in March, I got a bill from December.
yeah.
He's right.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
And also, what was explained to me was
Yeah.
because everybody
up.
was at home,
Mm-hmm.
online shopping had gone through the roof,
Right.
Yeah.
and the post office volume was double,
Oh yeah.
and they had COVID restrictions in the workplace.
Yes.
So they were having problems too, and then everybody's at home and they can't leave and they're going bonkers,
Right.
and they want to know where their cookies are, right?
Right, exactly. I
So-
know.
so, yeah.
That keyboard player, he did it. It's
Yeah,
his
yeah,
fault.
like yeah, now he's working at the post office.
Well, he needed a job because he got
yeah.
left in friggin' Bullbitch, Italy, or Nebraska, or wherever.
Yeah, gosh.
Oh, my
So, but yeah, it's just.
People just, there was no patience left. I mean, when you're stuck at home and said you have to stay home, and then people were getting paid to stay home because the unemployment, and then they added the extra money, and they couldn't get people to go to work because it's easier for them to sit home, collect more, sitting there.
They're making more sitting at
Yeah,
home than
versus
actually
going
working.
out in the
Why?
world, but then they've got everybody so scared that, you know, your ears are going to fall off if you walk outside because COVID's going to get you, or, you know, that extra gluten that you had, you know, whatever. Don't get me started. But, I mean, it was just, the whole thing is just bizarre to me. It's still bizarre.
Well, I'm actually surprised we've done as well as we have.
I know, you kept touring. You were one of the few artists that just still kept going to do
We
shows.
had to.
But that's great.
No, I mean, you know, when you're a small business, which is what we are, you have fixed costs.
Right.
Van payments and website maintenance and people on your payroll.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And you know, you have to.
How
do
many?
What you got to do.
How many shows did you have to cancel at first?
Hundreds.
Was it?
We had.
You had the whole year booked, right?
Yeah. And we were talking about the music industry, and the music industry has changed in this way. So let's say 25 years ago, you're U2. You're the band U2, okay?
Right, right,
Half of your revenue is album sales,
Right.
and half is touring.
right.
So they go, well, we can not tour for a year and a half.
Because we're getting all the money from the albums.
Yeah. Now, a band like Metallica said they have to tour every year because 95% of your revenue is touring revenue.
Is it the same with you?
Same with us. So what it is back at 25 years ago, it was you buy a CD for $10 and
Right.
you buy a concert ticket for $40.
And a T-shirt,
Yeah,
Right.
Now, a concert ticket, you want to go see Elton John, it's $350.
because it's Sir Elton John.
Right. but you go
Right.
see
Yeah.
any act of renown, and it's at least $100 a ticket.
Right.
So what we've all done, our ticket prices are $20, $30.
Right.
They used to be $10, right? What we've done is we're saying, okay, you're not going to buy a CD, but you're going to buy a concert ticket.
Right.
So now 95% of our revenue comes from touring. Well, now we can't tour.
Right.
So it's sort of like there's a lot of ramen noodles if you're living off your Spotify paycheck. you
Right,
know.
definitely.
So that's why we were really impacted, and I think a lot of acts are impacted. Like you know, I'm sure people don't feel too bad for Metallica and Motley Crue and all these big stadium acts, but I bet you they're hurting. They were expecting to make millions of dollars.
Well,
that
definitely.
they're not.
Because I worked Metallica show, and their show was so big they filled Busch Stadium.
Yeah.
Usually, an average, and I say an average, a regular band that's out touring, let's say it's Def Leppard. So, 19 trailers are what we have to unload.
Right.
Metallica had over 25 trailers.
Wow.
Taylor Swift, 98 trailers.
What?
But that's Tay-Tay. Taylor
Wow.
Swift, 98 trailers.
Are you kidding me?
No, 98. 3 of them were her wardrobe alone.
Wow.
That was amazing. I mean, that was, and they were, stopped here in St. Louis for a week. That girl, I feel sorry for her. I mean, she's been a rock star since she was, 10?
Yeah.
I mean, something crazy like that. But she's extremely untouchable.
Right.
And while we were building her stage, it took us 3 or 4 days to build her stage. She has a bomb-sniffing dog that she travels with that has to come out and circle the stage every hour on the hour. And then when her show's going on, they have they send the drones out into the crowd with the facial recognition for the stalkers.
Wow.
4 drones go out in the crowd.
I would not want to live like that.
Now
I'm
each
sorry, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
and each show, when these bands go from town to town, they hire stagehands like us because they'll have their own home crew, like a dozen guys,
Right.
whatever. And then they go from town to town. Then they set it up where we're going to work the show, and then their crew, dispatches us out to do whatever we're doing, lights, sound, stage, whatever. So her main crew, the guy that's been there the longest, has been working for her for 8 years, and he's never met her.
Wow.
Never. She's that untouchable. Now this
Wow.
is my theory. If my name is, I don't care who it is, and I'm putting on shows like this, I'm going to Australia and I'm going to Hong Kong and I'm going to all these freaking huge cities, and it's taken a week to build my stage, and I've got all this gear. The first person I'm going to thank are the people putting the show together,
Right.
besides the manager, my mom and dad, but that's another story. So the fact that he's never met her just really kind of says a whole lot that, and we weren't allowed, I mean, we had to clear the backstage. We couldn't even be up even close to the stage when she made her entrance because it's Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
And I mean, she, like I said, she had 3 trailers alone that were her wardrobe, and then all of her props and all the stuff she was using for her show. It was crazy. But Kelly Clarkson, guess what?
What?
We lined up when she got done, and she shook our hands and she hugged us. Everybody down the line. There's 100 people standing up there, and Kelly
Those
Clarkson's
are the kind
like,
of musicians I like to see.
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson. I mean,
Yeah.
she's a
Yeah.
sweetheart. She's just that.
Yeah.
She's like, thank you. I was like, oh my gosh, that's just. We don't expect a ticker tape parade, but I mean, that just screams volumes about herself.
Yeah. Yeah.
She could have just
How
gotten.
many trailers do you have?
We got one.
One.
He drove it here. He drove it here. There's that big truck out
Yeah.
there.
I mean, we don't
No, I'm
need
kidding.
98 trailers to do a show.
Well, if you have,
if that's what it takes them to do, that's fine.
No, she had. A lot of it was her props. Like she had this giant camera,
That's funny.
this giant piano that it took up 2 they couldn't even back it in a regular way. Down at the stadium, they had what's called elephant doors, and they had to back that thing up, and it took 20 of us to get the stuff off the freaking trailer. It was crazy. I've never seen such a
That's
big
silly.
show. That is.
It is really silly.
It is. It's.
And
that's
she
a
don't
mess.
care because she don't do the work.
But guess what? Before that, every show, I think somebody told me this. Each city that she lands in, it's $1 million. She makes so much
What?
off.
Yeah.
She makes so much off her merch alone. Her
Yeah.
merch alone is, like you said, almost half of her income. Her merch alone
Yeah.
from little girls, whatever.
Yeah.
But
that's
she
crazy.
sells she's got a hell of a team
Yeah.
that do everything for her. But I mean, no wonder she writes so many songs about her ex-boyfriends. She's got to be lonely
Right.
and sad. She can't have any friends. Nobody will play with her.
She could buy some, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that's why she has so many songs
Right.
because they ran away. But
yeah.
no,
She's untouchable.
she is untouchable.
Yeah,
Yes.
but different people react to extreme situations in different ways.
Right.
I'll tell you a funny video I saw. Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jeff Beck jamming,
Right.
Madison Square Garden.
Right.
And as a surprise, their girlfriends or wives, during the last song, came out to surprise them and give them a hug.
Okay.
Now, the reaction was Jeff Beck was there's my wife or girlfriend
Right,
or whatever.
right.
His hands are in the air.
Right, okay.
And Stevie Ray Vaughan's like, what are you doing on stage? That's unprofessional. Like that. I think that's what I would do. I'd be more
Oh,
like
yeah.
Stevie, like, you're not supposed
you
to
doing?
be here. Yeah, come on.
You don't know
know,
this
yeah.
lick. Get off the
Yeah.
stage.
So, just because I respect the stage and I
Right,
respect
right.
the audience, and I wouldn't want
Right.
my girlfriend or wife
Right.
coming in and you're not ruining
Right.
the show, but it was just interesting. Two different people, two
Right.
different reactions.
Right.
Two great musicians.
Oh, yeah.
Two wonderful people. Two different reactions. Well, I don't know if any of us have had to have bomb sniffing dogs and facial recognition. When you get to that level, you just may check out. You know, and I'm not defending Taylor Swift, but and I would be more like Kelly Clarkson. I would try to B.B. King was my mentor, and he was the
What
nicest
a
man I met.
sweetheart.
Oh.
It broke my heart.
Yeah.
What a sweetheart.
I get that, but at that crazy level, I once heard the story, man. It gave me the hair stood up on my arms when I heard the story. U2, same thing, huge
Yeah,
band, right?
yeah.
They get this guy that says, if you play this particular song, Pride in the Name of Love,
Right.
I'm going to assassinate Bono. And for whatever reason, they took this very seriously, this threat from this person. Maybe
Right.
they knew that, it wasn't just
Right.
some, 12-year-old hacker from Singapore.
Right.
It was legit. And they decided, are we going to play this song or not? And they decided to play it. They had a big meeting. And as they started to play it, the bass player stood in front of this Bono, in front of the singer.
Oh, wow.
Now that's a band, man. When I heard that, I was like, whoa.
Chris,
man.
get up off of
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Put
Chris,
those
get off the
sticks
drums.
down. Put them
No,
out in
he's
front of
he's
you.
no, yeah. Hit that assassin with the drumstick.
There you go. That's right. Or catch it. Catch it like, the fly.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
that bullet.
he does have ninja powers.
There you
ladies.
go.
He does have
That's
that. But so, but that's a whole other world. Maybe
I know.
after that, and people are always on your. We've had a small taste of what that's like, a very small taste, and sometimes it's daunting, and sometimes it's like, not to name drop, but I'm going to name drop.
Do it.
I got to hang out with Steven Seagal. He was.
Ew.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
anyway, I hung out
He
with.
cheated on the best wife in the whole wide world. Don't get me started.
Well, his story was no.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, right. I know.
Anyway.
She just fell on it.
Sometimes
The
it happens.
babysitter just fell on me.
I mean.
Oh, anyway, go ahead.
But most people don't know, but he's a huge blues fan.
Yes, I do
And
know. I do know
a
that.
collector of blues guitars, and he had left a package at this convention, and they asked me to drop it off, and I went there and went to his house, and it didn't sort of faze me that it was Steven Seagal. Like, if it was Jeff Beck, yeah, I'd probably be a blumbering idiot,
Right.
But it was Steven Seagal was like, so I didn't really care that he was famous. I've met my heroes who are famous, and
Right.
I've been like an idiot, oh my God, but for whatever reason, actors that's not my profession, right? So it's like, yeah, it's Steven Seagal. It could be, John Smith or whatever,
Right.
So I think he appreciated the fact that I wasn't starstruck, and I think he appreciated that we had a common interest of blues. And so I'm like, well, what guitars do you have? He goes, well, I got B.B. King's guitar, one of his Lucille's.
What?
Yeah, he goes, I have one of Muddy Waters' guitars. I have one of Freddie King's guitars.
Oh,
I have
man.
Albert King's backup guitar.
Shut
and,
up.
And Albert Collins' backup guitar. He had Albert King's main guitar, which is a $500,000 guitar without the association.
Huh.
Yeah, they only made.
But his DNA's all
yeah,
over it.
they only
Oh,
made
and all
ni-
the songs. Oh my
They only made 98 of these guitars in
Wow.
1959, and he had one of them and the one that belonged to Albert King. I was like, "Where's this guitar?" He goes, "Under my bed." I'm like,
No.
"Go get it, man!" and so,
Or did you push him out of the way?
Yeah,
You
so
pushed him out of the way and ran for it, didn't you?
He had his assistant in his house
Oh, well,
bring
there
it
you
down,
go.
which was cool.
There you go.
But no, it was very, very cool. So we're talking, and I said, "What's it like being famous?" And he said, "Accepting that you're always going to disappoint people."
Right.
He said, "You
very
can never
yep.
give them exactly what they want all the time,
Right.
and you can never be on all the time." I was like, "Wow, man,
true.
that's pretty rough." And he was so nice. I had to go. He said, "Oh, no, man, hang out." I was like, well, here's a person who's like got everything, and at the same time, he seemed very lonely at that moment in time.
Right.
Well, he probably can't even go outside his house.
No,
Like,
no.
I mean, he probably can't even go walk down the street like I
Yeah.
can
yeah.
without somebody, oh my God.
Yeah, like you, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
you know
like,
what I
yeah,
mean?
there you
They
are.
can't do that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Can't. That's
but
horrible.
But didn't it kind of change your attitude when you met him at his house and you see that when he opens the door and it's like, oh, he's just a regular guy.
yeah,
I mean,
That's why
that
he
kind of
loved it,
loses
that he
some of
treated
the
him like a normal person.
regular person.
yeah.
Not-
I'm sure. I know he loved it.
Yeah, well,
Had to.
yeah, I'm sure that, and at the end of the day, everybody wants to feel special,
Right.
but we all know that we're just like everybody else,
Right.
you know.
We all need love.
Yeah, we all need, we all need love. So that was a story that, you know, wow, you're always disappointing people. Like that's his takeaway of it. So I can only imagine what it's like to be a pop superstar, and you know, we all have opinions on these people, and we've never met them. You know,
Right.
And we're asking them to do crazy, amazing things. But yeah,
Well, I think I put a meme out on Facebook. I think I've used it a couple times. You're not going to please everybody. You're not chocolate or bacon.
right.
So,
Right.
you know, you're not. It's just not going to happen. And somebody is going to, they may love you to death, and then you'll say or look different, and it's like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. But I think that's true with everybody. But sometimes celebrities and musicians, I think, take that more to heart because they put that high expectation among themselves that they have to be perfect. They have to hit every key, every note. They have to say their lines just right or sing just right. And I've seen the best musicians make a mistake and recover from it, but that look on their face when they know they screwed up, it's like, what? We don't care. 9 times out of 10, the audience doesn't hear it or see it.
Right. Well, I will say this: being an artist and not,
Are you hard on yourself?
oh yeah, yeah. People are like, "What's your favorite record that you've made?" I'm like, I hate them all, but I love them all. You know,
Right.
But look, I know this. I'm working on a new album now, and I know the first single that we're going to release. I don't know what it is yet.
Right.
But it's going to be somebody's favorite song that we have ever done.
Right.
And they're going to think it's the most amazing thing.
Yes.
And somebody's going to think it sucks.
Yes.
And it's the worst thing we've ever done.
Yes.
And we should just play our old stuff. You know, like.
Right.
So you're mentally prepared for that. But people are also very insensitive to artists. We did a show once, and some guy came up and he talked to me, and he's like, "Oh man, cool show. Oh yeah, you know, I liked you better last time." I was like, "Well, I liked you better last time too."
Right, when you weren't such a jerk. No, kidding.
No, but,
no.
you know, but people feel very, you know, it's
They
just like-
connect.
well, yeah, but it's like, wow, like, would I go up to a total stranger and say, "Hey,
I would
man"?
never go up to a musician
yeah.
or an artist and tell him what that man just said.
That's
I'd be
just
like,
rude.
But
never.
you know, but they felt like it wasn't necessarily. It was just maybe a comment on how much more they liked that other show. You know, and maybe it had nothing to do with this show. This show was perfectly fine or whatever. But it's like you kind of got to put on your suit of armor. And you know, if you ever troll comments on your videos on YouTube or see stuff on Facebook, it's like, oh God, you know, we had the song "Helen Half of Georgia," and
I like that song.
yeah,
I just
thank you.
played
And
it.
there was an ad. There was an ad we took for our Little Rock show, and it's like coming to Little Rock,
Right.
Anthony Gomes, and some guy was like, Stevie Ray Vaughan's better, just saying, and I'm like,
Oh my God.
when did I ever say I was better than Stevie Ray Vaughan? That I was comparing myself to Stevie Ray Vaughan? That and it was just like, yeah, I'm not as good as Stevie Ray Vaughan.
No.
Nobody is. Like
That-
he was, But it's like at the same time, why? Like, I'm just trying to do the best I can on every given moment. I'm giving it 100%, and sometimes it's good, other times it's not as good. But when you pay $20 to come to our show, I'm giving you everything I got. And but it's just. You just know you got to wear that suit of armor. That there's gonna be haters, and it's usually people that have an overinflated sense of their own opinion because for whatever reason in their daily lives they feel their opinion doesn't matter, and
Right.
this is their time to comment. But there's a lot of that. So as an artist, it's sort of like. And then, I've told myself I can never believe the best compliments that I get because I have to then accept the greatest critiques.
Right.
So, there's people that say, I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan and you're better than him. And then you're somebody, and you might say, wow, what a great compliment.
Right.
In your heart, you're never better than your heroes, like not by, and not even in the same ballpark. And then, you can't believe that, And at the same time, when somebody says that you suck, it's like, well, maybe I can't believe that either,
Right, no.
You just got to do what you got to do, but
Right.
you got to be prepared, man. It's like going in. It's like game day.
Right, but if they're comparing you to Stevie Ray Vaughan, I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. I love you, but you're two different. It's
two
two
totally different
different
musicians and
sounds.
two totally
It's
different
too different. They're not listening.
Right.
You can't throw all the blues guys
Right.
together.
Right.
You just can't do that. I mean, that's like saying, oh well, sorry. Jeremiah Johnson's better. I do love Jeremiah, but I mean that you can't do that because it's different.
Right.
It's all a different sound. You need to freaking pay attention. Maybe he was mad because Stevie Ray Vaughan's dead,
Right.
or sorry, no, you know what?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Stevie Ray Vaughan's not even here to defend himself or to get on stage and do it's just crazy.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, one of my favorite artists of all time. I love it, but it was just interesting. Like it's like, where did this come?
Doesn't even,
from?
not even close.
But at the end of the day, as an artist, you got to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is just little old me over down here at this level. Now, Taylor Swift and these acts that, due to their talent
Mm-hmm.
and other factors, they're at the top of the game.
Mm-hmm.
What do they have to deal with? Like, and it's almost like Paul McCartney. How does this guy? How does
Sir
it-
Paul
yeah,
McCartney.
Sir Paul McCartney. I mean,
Wow.
I'm it's to navigate a life like that. It can't be an easy task.
I don't think anybody told him that Stevie Ray Vaughan was better than him. But
No.
but there was a lot of critique when his wife was still alive
Yeah.
because she sang off key. Keyboard player. Sorry, Linda.
Right.
But I mean, it was they were always critiquing her, and I was like, you know what? Shut up. It's his band. He can have if he wants a live animal on there or a chicken on his head, he can do what he wants.
Yeah.
It's his freaking band.
Right.
Shut up. Move down. Go somewhere else. But
Well, yeah,
it's not fair.
yeah. I mean, Yoko too got a lot of.
Don't
blame.
get me started on her.
But, yeah.
She broke up the band,
Yeah,
man. No, but yeah, but she's a musician in her own right, and kudos to her. She's weathered quite the storm, and wow, she's probably one of the most hated people I think in the United States. Or she probably has more haters than anybody I know.
Well, she's something. She's
She
something.
well, I mean, she got blamed for a lot of things. I mean, she wasn't the only one there. So, but she did get blamed for a lot, and it's just there's three sides to every story.
Look, the
And
Beatles
you'll never
were-
know all three of them.
I mean,
They're never gonna
Taylor
break up.
Swift is big. The Beatles were huge, and they wrote the book.
Yes.
No, people always go, Beatles or Rolling Stones. That's not even a question. No Beatles, no Rolling Stones, no nothing.
Exactly.
They
Before
set
that,
the
you got
standard.
Elvis and Chuck
Little
Berry.
Richard and Chuck Berry, yeah. But the Beatles were a band that created a band sound.
Yeah.
and such pioneers, even you listen to a band like U2, and when they talk and they're like, we're a superstar band, but we're just kind of following what the Beatles did, and everybody has. They charted that
Oh,
roadmap.
yeah.
They were the
Definitely.
first to go to Mars. And
Oh,
then
yeah,
other
definitely.
people have gone to Mars, but they were the first to go there. They were
Yes.
the pioneers and the pilgrims of that. So
Definitely, for sure.
but so I can only imagine what they had to deal with. 7 years, they had to do one album a year and 4 singles a year. Their output was crazy.
Right.
The quality of their stuff was insane. They broke down social barriers.
Yes.
They refused to play segregated venues in the 60s in the United States.
Yep.
They broke down class barriers in England, which was huge. Most Americans don't understand the class system in Britain.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
And here were these guys from
Liverpool, yeah.
poking fun at at the
Right.
same time that the Queen is losing some power. And
Right.
so they were. They also tuned people on to other forms of spirituality and counterculture, and they opened the door to new ways of thinking in a way that challenged society and pushed society to grow.
They were
You
true
know,
artists.
Yeah, and they stood together for 7 years. So I think after you've done all that, I don't blame anybody. My belief is what broke up the Beatles is Brian Epstein passed away.
Yeah.
Their manager. He was
Definitely.
the guy that kept them together,
them together.
that knew who they were before
Right.
they were who they were. And once he was gone,
Just kind of, but and then they decided. I think people sometimes when people die, when they touch so many hearts, and it just kind of a little part of you dies. And I think that they just decided it's not the same. Like you said, I want to do my thing. I want to do my thing. I want to do my thing. And then it was, do we break up? Do we not break up? And then the fighting, and then the mudslinging, all the bullshit. But I think deep down inside that all 4 of them still missed the Beatles. But then they
Yes.
had to do their own thing,
Yeah.
which was awesome because we got the Beatles. We got all their deep cuts after that because it was each individual musician doing their thing, which
yeah.
to me was a plus.
I think had John still been, with us, I think they would have gotten back together. I just have a feeling.
And still do their individual projects.
Yeah. I think that they would have had a few reunions. That would have been something.
Oh
would've been
man,
cool.
that would
Yeah.
have been badass. Just, I mean, even the Rolling Stones, they've been together forever and a day, and they still I think they've done some individual stuff here and there,
Right.
but they still keep doing their thing.
Yeah.
They're just well preserved from all the dope, and that's
Right.
okay. It's fine with me. I don't care. Keep playing. Don't ever die.
Yeah.
Because usually when it starts happening, it's always in threes.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate to see that.
Oh man.
I hate to say that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take. Well, it's like 8:45. Can you believe that?
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna listen to two of your songs, and we're gonna come back. So we started with what did I start with? I can't read this. My bad. Blues in the First Degree and Hell and a Half of Georgia. So stories behind those. I mean, all your songs have a story, which is great.
Right.
I mean, you tell great stories.
Well, thank you.
You really do. Is it all made up? Is it based on real life? What's your inspiration, or do you have a muse, or is it just something that are you one of these that wakes up in the middle of the night, oh, I gotta write a song, blah, 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 and write it down?
Yes, I am one of those people that I'll have an idea, and man, you are just a servant to music. When your
Right.
art, when you're
Right.
a songwriter, it's like, oh gosh, this is the most inopportune time to have this melody.
Right.
There was a song on our latest album called Greatest Four-Letter Word, and it's just about love. It's a song about love. And I woke up, I had the melody, I had the lyrics. I went to, got into quiet, got out of bed, found the root notes, hummed the whole melody, 90% of the lyrics in 2 minutes, went back to bed, and woke up the next morning and was like, oh yeah, I wonder if that's any good, because sometimes they suck,
Right,
and it was
right.
like, oh, this is actually really, really good. So, or I thought it was good at least, or it wasn't bad. And yeah, so I think that that's where that comes from. You know, every good lie has a lot of truth in it.
Yes.
If you want to tell a good lie, make sure there's some truth in it.
Something.
Not that I'm a good liar or I've told a lot of lies.
You are a guy.
This has been told to me that yes. So that was very sexist of you. But anyway.
I know. I know. Well, you know how it
Man,
is.
welcome to the man hating hour.
That's right. We
Today's
can do
guest
that.
for the bashing. No.
That's okay.
no.
So, but when you bring your song to your band, do they help you as far as, hey, can we change that? Hey, can we, or it would sound better this way, or?
Usually I have a pretty good idea after doing it. When I
Right.
first started out, yes, I needed. Now it's pretty much I have an idea of where I'd like it to go. But so are the songs true stories? Everyone is to a certain degree.
Right.
We have a song called White Trash Princess.
Right.
And that's an amalgamation of certain colorful individuals that I have known,
Right.
maybe dated,
Right.
maybe whatever,
Right.
or a little piece of this person or
Right.
that person. But
Or your show in Arkansas this weekend.
When Arkansas, the royalty was out in full
Nothing
effect.
wrong with that.
But that song, really, what that song is about is you don't have to be perfect to
Right.
be perfect.
Right.
You don't have to be somebody's ideal
Right.
thing. And you know, even though the song is white trash, it's not about being Caucasian or whatever.
Right.
It's about you are. There's a white trash princess in all of us. It's
Oh, yeah.
somebody who doesn't fit in, doesn't fit the mold.
Right.
But you know what? You're perfect just the way you are. You don't have to put on false airs or pretend to be
Right.
cool.
Right.
It's cool that you're not cool. It's cool that you're not perfect. Just be the best you that you are, and be honest and be free and be the person you are
Right.
meant to be. If you know, if you want to go shop at Wally World, then fine. You don't, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, whatever. So that was that song. It was a very liberating thing.
Right.
But you know, I just knew some people that I was like, oh yeah, who is this character that
Right.
is perfect but not perfect? And,
Well, it's something that everybody's going to relate to,
yeah,
whether
so-
they want to admit it out loud or not.
yeah. So hell and a half of Georgia was a saying that is an old time saying, like
Yeah, it is.
everybody knows. Hell and a half of Georgia knows that.
Right.
You know.
Well, I lived in Memphis. I already know. I've heard a lot of all kinds of crap. Yeah. So yeah, I love that. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So the idea in that song is somebody's unfaithful, and there's a lot of those songs in the blues, you know. Somebody's, but this one had a twist. The character in the story is female.
Yes.
Imagine that the one that
Can
is
you
not
believe
faithful
that?
is female.
She lied. It happens. Well, he was probably a jerk.
Yeah, but he was probably a jerk. Yeah, he deserved it. He deserved it. But anyway, so what happens is she thinks he doesn't know, but he knows.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
You always know.
Everybody in church is talking about it.
Hell, half of Georgia knew about it.
Georgia knows. And he did seek solace with her sister and cousin. And,
At the same time.
There you go.
you know, we leave that up to the listener to determine. I would like to think yes.
Yeah, there we go.
But
Yeah, that video's later.
that
That wasn't on the video.
it was a three-way conversation.
I'm sure.
Conversation. They were discussing
Yeah, I
the
know.
issue at hand.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Oh, it's a cool
conversation.
song.
Conversation.
Okay.
Call it whatever you want to call it. You can call it whatever you want to call it.
Now, do you write all your own songs, like all of them?
Yeah, I write them, or sometimes I co-write them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that one about, like with the homeless person on the video?
Oh, yeah.
Was that Entertainment or no?
That Let Love Take Care of Love is the name of
Yeah.
that song. I co-wrote that one with a guy named Billy Falcon.
Yeah.
And
It's a very moving video, by the way.
Thank
Like
you.
I just, yeah, it's awesome.
Thank
I
you.
cannot wait to see you live Saturday.
Oh.
I've never seen you live.
Wow.
Never.
Have you-
I have
No
listened
pressure.
To you.
No pressure.
Are you-
I have never seen you live, and I'm gonna be right there in
You
front,
know what I
dancing
love?
my ass off.
You know what I love about that? You can't say I liked you better last time.
I would never say that to you. I would
Are you going to bring the cartoon self? The
Here
car-
I am.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, no.
He's got a video.
Yeah.
He's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Right?
It looks like claymation, but he used it as a cartoon.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Cool.
And the name of the song is
Stealing from the devil.
no,
Stealing from
Oh,
the-
that one?
no, Your Mama.
Oh, yeah.
Your mama wants to do me, and your daddy wants
I
to
love
do
that
me.
song, too.
It's a great song.
True
It's a
story.
great.
Yes.
Really.
So what's that one about? What true story is that
Yeah,
about?
what true story is that
Not.
Well,
Sounds like a three-way conversation.
it sounds like a three-way conversation.
Or now it's a four-way if you got the mama and the daddy.
You know, sometimes you get attention from places you don't want to get attention from.
Yes.
Right. Or you never thought you
You
would.
never thought you would. And then some people get angry that the person giving said attention is giving you too much attention.
Right.
And then they get upset by that.
Right.
And you have no idea what's going on. And then next thing you know,
It's a whole
some-
conversation.
somebody's pulling out a gun.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
8 people are dead, and there you
No,
go.
They're not dead, but they're running. They're running.
That's crazy.
Oh, man. That's
Huh.
great. That's
That's
awesome.
crazy.
It sounds like there's more truth in that than, do we want to know? Was that your white trash princess?
No, that was a mama. No.
It was her mama?
No, you know, it's just, yeah, we live in a colorful world, don't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So
nice
amazing.
save.
Yes.
Crazy.
So how long is your show? I mean, what's the average length of your show? An
Yeah,
hour,
like how
2
long is
hour,
it?
45 minutes? What are we
We
talking?
do like usually 90 plus an encore, so it's close to 2 hours.
So like
Very
you
cool.
don't stop at all? Like no intermission?
No, we don't believe in that. We
That's
just,
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
How about
people,
you- how many-
Until people start throwing fruit
No,
and
they
vegetables.
would never do that
Right.
to you. No, I know
Well,
they
there
would.
is a cage. You know, it's kind of like that movie.
Oh yeah, the cage.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Reminds me of the old days.
Yeah, right. I know. So, any drum solos? No.
Oh yeah, drum solo, of course. Oh yeah,
I'm
there's a
kidding.
drum solo.
There's a drum solo.
Chris
And-
White is awesome.
Yeah.
He is.
Awesome drummer. His father, Daryl, is just as good.
Amazing.
I-
Have you,
They're
you've,
amazing.
you've seen Daryl, haven't you?
I have seen Daryl.
Daryl
Wrath
White.
of Khan?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes,
Those 3 guys are just phenomenal.
they are phenomenal.
And George is like, he's my brother from another mother. And when they put
George
that
Matos is awesome. too.
when they put that
Yeah.
band together 10 years ago when I was a booking agent, he said, "Can you get me gigs?" I'm like, "You're 3 old guys playing classic rock. It's going to be difficult because nobody's going to know how friggin' awesome you are." And I've known these guys forever. And so they started out small in some of these strip malls with, little beer joints and stuff like that. And now, finally, I mean, not now, but I mean, it didn't take very long for the word to get out just
Right.
because these 3 guys have
Well,
just.
they're very talented.
Oh, for
very talented.
Obed. I mean, he's just
Wrath of Khan
insane.
is awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
He's just insane in the brain. He's
Yeah.
so
Yes.
wow.
He is. I mean, he's an example of such a talented guy on the instrument and with his amps and
Oh,
designing of his
forget
amp.
it.
Yeah, he's just and a super nice guy.
Very nice.
He's very humble and down to earth.
Yeah,
Yes, he
I
is.
keep bugging him about coming on my show. He's like, "Oh, no."
yeah.
He's very shy. He's very shy. George, yeah, he's all right.
Right.
But yeah, George is a sweetheart. Well, George, he was in several bands as a kid, younger.
Yes.
So with Frankie and all
Played
that.
with
Yeah.
Devin Allman and Southern Brotherhood Band too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honey Tribe.
Yes.
Yeah. I love Devin Allman, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I've known Devin for a long time.
Everybody's known that for a long time.
Everybody's known Devin. He's
Yeah.
He's so awesome.
he's
And
really
he's so
sweet.
humble and so down to earth. And I saw him at Diamond, like, sit across from me. And it was his girlfriend, and she's like, "Tammy." I'm like, "Yeah." And I didn't recognize him because he had his hair pulled up
Right.
and he had glasses on.
Mm-hmm.
I would never suspect to see him at Diamond Music Hall on a Thursday night for open jam. Are you freaking kidding me?
Right.
Right.
He played with Tommy Crane.
Oh, did he?
that
Cool.
night.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was the only one in there that did not video it
Wow.
because
Really?
I respected his privacy.
Yeah.
I did not. I didn't even say
Well,
he
then
was
you
there.
know Devin. He wants to be videoed.
But I
trust
don't.
me.
I mean, like, it would be the same. I don't do that. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
it's privacy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think he's awesome, and what I really respect about Devin is, I feel like his artistry is getting deeper.
it is.
The older he
He's
gets,
getting better.
He's getting,
He's getting
yeah,
so much better.
And when you say he's getting better, that I don't want that to sound like a
No.
backhanded
Let me
compliment.
finish that. He's been reinventing himself because
Yes.
every project is just one step above, one step above.
Yeah.
So he started here, and it's just like everybody.
Yeah.
it's just like you said. I don't know if it's maturity or what, but he's just.
I
It's
mean, he
deeper.
was awesome from the get-go, and
Right.
now he's just getting better but already starting at a great place.
Right,
you know?
right,
and
definitely.
I think that's so cool as a music fan to hear that.
Definitely.
And to
And he's not like he felt. I think he always felt like he was in his dad's shadow.
right.
I think he felt like that, and now he's not. I mean, like it's like he's just.
He's
I've
coming-
seen him live so many times, and I feel his energy. It's weird. I feel his energy, and it's just like he. I don't know. It's like he's just trying to make his own name, his own path.
Well, yeah, he's coming
what
to
I'm
his
saying?
he's coming to his own, and
That's
the
what I'm
in,
tr-
the
yeah.
insecurities aren't there like they used to
Yes.
be,
Yeah.
because of the fact that I think he finally got to the place that he realized that he is a lot better than he always never thought he really was.
Right.
Even doesn't matter how many people told him how great he was, it didn't register. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better.
Well,
You
like-
know, but
Yeah.
so but he really is. He's
Every artist has a journey to find
Yeah.
themselves,
Mhm.
and it just takes time, and especially when your uncle was maybe the greatest guitar player that ever lived.
oh yeah, he
Yeah.
lo- oh
and
yeah,
your
definitely.
dad was maybe like the greatest vocalist. That
Right, right.
That's a little bit daunting,
Mhm.
but yeah, man, he's always been awesome. He's always been great, and he continues to grow, and I enjoy the music that he makes, whether or not he had the last name that he has.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
And that's a wonderful thing.
And that
But then you had those like people out there that say, "Oh, he's riding on his dad's shirt tail."
no.
They used to.
Right, but he never really did that. His dad wouldn't let him.
No.
That was part
No,
of
he
his
would
tough love, because you're good. You can do this. You don't need to be with me while I'm doing my thing with the Allman Brothers, because it wasn't in the cards like that.
Yeah.
And it just made, I think, Devin a better person by him realizing his talent
Yeah.
that he had that he didn't realize he had.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
because he's a good musician, and he's
He's
just
awesome. And he's an awesome human being too. He's
Really
just so down
nice.
to earth. I like that.
and
Yeah,
he
we
has
like good people.
I love good people.
as long as
you
you're not a
know that.
keyboard player.
Right. Sorry again to all
Yeah.
keyboard players.
Sorry,
we really
Steven.
Do love you.
Yeah,
We love,
no, we
yeah,
do.
the 5 of you that are really cool.
Right. There you go. So that's awesome. But so after you go to the Midwest, I mean, do you have any plans to go back to Europe, or is that like on hold right now
It's on
because of
hold, yeah.
the COVID thing?
Every time we get excited, like, okay, I think it's time to talk about Europe, then
Right.
the Delta variant or
Yep.
something else happens.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think next year, we have plans to go to Ireland and the UK.
Oh, yeah.
We have a European agency now that we just
Oh, very cool.
that we're working with. So we're excited about that, and they're excited about getting us into Europe. And
Have you played Alaska?
I have not played Alaska.
Okay, you may want to reach out to Jeremiah about this.
Okay.
They got to do this trip in Alaska. They are so starving and loving American bands to come out there and play, and they Jeremiah said it was the coolest trip. I mean, number one, he got to go to Alaska. I don't remember what time of the year it was. It was all dark or what, but anyway, he said that they treated them like kings, and they just loved them. I mean, it's like going to Europe, because the Europeans love the Westerners
Right.
because they just do.
Right.
And you can get up there and play Mary Had a Little Lamb for 20 minutes, and they would
They would
just
love you.
oh my God, you're the next God,
Right.
So, but yeah, and it's a very cool trip. I'll send you the information from
Okay.
the guy, but he's always trying to get acts to come over there. But I think people are scared or don't want to or just whatever. But I think he could have. He could have tapped St. Louis resource and just drug one band after another over there.
Alaska 2022, here we come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a really cool trip. But yeah, he put it on Facebook, when they flew over there and all this, and he's just said it was very unique. And he'd go back in a minute.
Cool.
Yeah, but the guy is super nice. Dave Bearsley.
Yes.
He's the one that helped with that trip.
Oh, wonderful.
Hit him up.
Okay.
And I will hit him up. David, get old Anthony.
Yeah.
Send him over there.
Make it happen.
Yes. Oh, yeah, Dave's a sweetheart.
Yeah, great guy, actually.
Yeah, we did the pilgrimage before the Blues Museum was up and running, because it was his dream. And we did the pilgrimage going all the way down to Memphis, down to the Delta, where the blues actually started.
Right.
People think W.C. Handy's he's from here.
Wow.
He's from here. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. But this was during the Blues Challenge. that we did that. We went all the way to, you know, Morgan Freeman's bar down there.
Yeah, Ground Zero.
Have you been there?
Yeah, we've played there. Actually,
How fun is that place?
man, it's real cool. You know, I knew the lady that ran the Delta Museum, Blues Museum across the street.
Right. Yeah, we went there.
So we'd been touring, this is about 10, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when you're in a different hotel every night, sometimes the pillows are not happening. And
Right.
we had this little
Right.
itty bitty pillow, and I had a crook in my neck.
Oh man.
You know, so I texted her, and she said, what time are you guys arriving? Good. Oh, you know, such and such time.
Right.
How are you? We're so excited. What time are you know, how are you doing? How are you excited for the show? I said, yeah, man, I'm great, but I got this stupid crook in my neck from sleeping. Oh man, that sucks, you know. So we're at Ground Zero, loading up, and I'm gonna do really bad impersonation. But all of a sudden I hear, "You must be that boy with a crook in his neck." And I'm like, "That's Morgan
Freeman. He's
so-
a super nice guy.
super nice guy. Not only was he very kind, and he arranged for a lady. He hired a lady to for a massage, a neck
Yeah.
massage, and paid for it
That's awesome.
Yes.
to help me out before the show.
Yes.
He came to the show,
Yes.
and he was so kind and so genuine to everybody there. And I remember a few years ago when they were throwing Harvey Weinstein under the bus and all, and they started to go after Morgan Freeman. I was like, I don't know him super well, but given that the man that I met and how he was with everybody, no way, man.
Right.
And it's amazing those allegations just went away.
Right. Right.
Because he was such a cool guy, and my favorite movie is Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, I know.
That's
I
an
mean,
awesome movie.
you just love him. You
Yeah,
just love him.
Yeah.
I mean, his whole mannerism, just everything about him. And outside of all that, he's that guy.
Yeah, and what a gentleman. And so anyway, so I got to meet him, and then right around the same time, I was playing when I didn't live in St. Louis at BB's, and in walks Tim Robbins and Vince Vaughn.
No.
And well, Tim Robbins is
Shut
Andy
up,
Dufresne
yes.
from Shawshank Redemption. So I'm like, damn.
Shut up.
And they had been overserved a little bit.
Well, it is Vince Vaughn. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
And boy, he's tall. He's a tall dude.
He is.
But he was very nice. And
I bet was he as hysterical in person?
yeah, he was a great guy. Just great. And then Tim Robbins played harmonica.
Oh
No
yeah.
So
Cool.
yeah, and so anyway, I'm like, you want to get up? He's like, okay, I'll get up and jam. I go, but you got to have a blues name. Do you have a blues name? He goes, I don't have a blues name. I go, Hollywood. That's your new name. So I'm like, on the harmonica, Hollywood. And, jamming. And, so that was pretty cool to have.
That is fun.
You know, your favorite movie to have
Right.
met these two
Yeah.
guys. You know, but yeah, just Morgan Freeman was just such a great person. Just
Well, when we went down there, I didn't meet him then, but we talked to the guy who owned the radio station, and we saw the memorabilia in there with where the King Biscuit Flower Hour they used to play
Yeah.
there. But Morgan does a lot of voiceovers for the guy who owns that station.
Yeah.
So they're really good friends. But
Yeah.
yeah. Where'd you mark? Did you mark the wall?
I did.
I marked the girls' bathroom wall.
Oh,
I
you
took
did.
a picture of it.
So did I. No,
Yeah.
just joking. No.
That was you. Oh yeah, that's fun. If you ever, have you been to Ground Zero?
No.
The whole, literally, there's Sharpies all over the place. You write on the walls, the
Really?
tablecloths, the floor,
Crazy.
the neighbors, the waiters, whoever's
Really?
there. You write all over.
Yeah,
It's
it was an old bread factory. I
right.
think.
Huh.
Hmm.
And they converted it into a juke
Right.
joint. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But they say he pops in periodically. He hangs out there. I think he plays or sings or both. Do you know? I
don't
can't
know about
remember
that.
what I was told. But then again, he could just stand there. I mean, and just, tell a story.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
He's just so great.
Yeah,
Super
yeah.
cool. That's awesome. So is that your favorite celebrity moment? One
well,
of them?
meeting B.B. King is my favorite. You know, I mean, he was my idol. So, but
Was it when you played his club?
no, I was 21, and in college and broke. And every Thursday there was a jam night.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were good, they gave you a beer, a free beer. If you were lighting the shit up, they give you 2 free beers.
Really?
And that's like $1 million, right?
Yeah.
When you're broke. And I had a 2-beer night, and I was jamming. And this was a place filled with drifters and characters.
Where
and
was it at?
It was in Toronto.
Toronto.
It
Okay,
was
cool.
And it was on Queen Street on the second story of right in sort of the happening section, like the art section.
Right.
Not uptown, but downtown. And it was a place called Chicago's in Toronto. But and this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Who's your favorite guitar player?" And I said, "B.B. King."
Yeah.
And he said, "I thought so. I'm his bus driver."
Shut up.
And I thought,
Oh my God,
"Kiss
no
my
way.
ass."
Right.
Yeah,
Bus
you're
driver.
not.
You're
a
lying.
driver.
Anyway, and I go, "What's your name?" And he said, "Lamar Sanford." And I thought, isn't that the dude's name from Sanford and Son?
Yeah.
But it's Lamont, right? But
Right.
But I was like, okay. So he took down my name. He said, "I'm going to introduce you to BB, and I'll get you 4 tickets to the show." It was the next night, about 45 minutes away. So I call up my friends the next day. I go, "Hey, do you maybe want to go see BB
Right.
King? Because we maybe have free
Yeah.
tickets."
Right.
They're like, "Okay, we'll take the drive for the chance."
Right.
Front row tickets.
No way.
Shut up. That is so
sweet.
cool.
And I got to meet BB, which was awesome.
I wish that was cool.
It was amazing. And I was introduced through Lamar.
That's so amazing.
And he took half an hour with me. Told me all about being a good band leader, about the music industry.
He's very soft spoken.
Oh, man. And Lamar told me that they had to lie to him and say that nobody else wanted to meet him because he was then in his late 60s. And he would stay up for hours just to meet everybody. And he had 2 photos, 2 8x10s, big stacks. One was a body shot, like, of his guitar, and the other one was a headshot with a headstock
Right,
over here. And he said, "Which photo do you like better?" And they'd say, "Well, I like that one." And he'd sign it and give it to them. Sign it and give it. And I
Right.
saw him just sign it. So Lamar introduced me, and I had done a lot of studying on B.B. King, not only as the artist, but the ambassador of the blues, and what he had done to further the music.
Oh, yeah.
And make it accessible to everybody, And I said, "Man, you made some guy, white kid from Canada in the suburbs, want to play blues, and I just admire all you've done." And I
Right.
wore my Sunday best clothes to meet him. And,
Oh.
it was like, and he's thought for a second, and he wrote, "Many thanks,
Oh,
B.B. King."
what a
And he said,
sweetheart.
"You see what I wrote here? I really mean it." And I noticed that he'd never, for everybody else, he just signed his name. And he thought, so now when people write to me, I write "many thanks," because that's what BB wrote to me.
Oh, that's so
It's like that passing on and I made these little business cards. I went to Office Max. Anthony Gomes, professional blues guitarist. And I said, "BB, I play the blues. Here's my business card, and he goes, "May I keep that?" And I'm like, I know he's going to throw it away, but yeah, you can,
what a
I bet you didn't.
well, and he probably didn't.
I don't think he did.
So anyway, I had the pleasure of doing a show with 38 Special and Don Barnes, who's a big blues fan. And so we're talking about the blues, and he asked me like a similar question, like, "Did you ever meet B.B. King?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And here, I met B.B. And I go, "Here's the story, And he goes, "Lamar Sanford, he was 38 Special's bus driver too."
No way.
No way,
That is
no way.
crazy.
Yeah. So that was a really cool moment.
That's awesome.
That is, I've only met him in person one time, and it was kind of a meet and greet, and there was so many people. I only got to shake his hand, but my baby story is that I called down there because I was in Memphis. I called the club to see if he was even going to be in town to play, and he answered the phone. He said, "This is BB." I said, "No, it isn't. Really?" I said, "Don't you have people to answer the phone for your bar?" He said, "It's my bar. I can answer anytime I want." I was like, "Cool." I said, "So is it really you?" And he said, "Hang on a minute." He put the phone down and he starts playing.
Oh, no way.
Starts playing Lucille, and I'm
Oh,
like,
shit.
I almost started to cry. I said, "Lucille, where have you been?"
Right.
He picks up the phone. I said, Mr. King, I'm so sorry to ever doubt you.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just really nice, and then he's just a sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah.
It was really sad when he got sick. My heart just broke for him but he went out doing what he loved
Yes, he sure did.
with his boots on.
Yeah.
So, which is awesome. Yep.
Yep.
To me, that's just the greatest thing to do what you love forever,
Yeah.
and not have to just work because you got to work.
Yeah.
So we got to get you out there.
There we go. Well, hey, this show.
There we
We're out
go.
there.
That's
We're out
right.
there.
Let's
Look
do
at
it. Well, it is 10 after 9. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for being here.
Thank
This
you,
is
guys.
awesome. We will see you on Saturday. We're going to go out with Your Mama Wants to Do Me.
You heard it here, folks.
Episode 79, STL Roar, mycitymymusic.com. Thank you, Anthony Gomes. Come in anytime. Bring the crowd. Bring your guitar.
I'll bring the band next time.
You
yeah.
can.
Yeah.
You can.
Bring
You
your
can.
guitar next time.
Okay.
Yes. I was gonna bring you one. And I thought, no, that might be presumptuous. He may not want to play. He's
I'll
gonna
wait to hear you Saturday.
Well, you know,
save it all for
leaves-
Saturday.
It leaves something to do for the next time we come.
That's right. That's right. So, who you want to give a shout out to? Go ahead, Tammy.
Nobody.
Nobody. Your kids. Your daughter. We got to give a shout out to Jilly. And, of course, Judy. Starlight Pub, where all the best musicians play. And the music matters. You've got to play there.
Okay.
Or at least come by on Thursday night and jam with everybody.
Alright.
Have you ever been there?
I have not.
She goes, I have
I feel
not.
like this is one of these interrogations.
You
know, these
have to
Senate
go.
meetings.
You have to
I
go.
have never been there. No.
You have to go. Yeah, it's fun. It's blast. All those killer musicians you're talking about, they're there, and it's just a great venue, and it's just a lot of fun. I don't know who's hosting this week. I have no
I
idea.
don't know.
But tomorrow night she's doing. She does her blues night on Tuesday nights. Mike Saffron is sitting in.
Oh wow.
Yes. And maybe you should come tomorrow night. What else have you got to do?
I'm working on a new record, actually, a new
Well-
album. Mad Hours in the Studio.
Is it going to be real vinyl?
Yes. Actually,
Good.
Really?
You have to do vinyl.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we signed with a very cool label. We signed with a rock label named Rat Pack Records. They're
Cool.
out of the East Coast. They've released Lynch Mob Records and
Very-
Queensryche, people from Queensryche.
Oh,
and,
very cool.
They're, and now a real cool band called Roxanne, King's X.
Oh yeah.
So they're a more of a rock label, and we're pretty excited because we're going to have some special guests on this new album. I can't talk about it yet, but
That's
they're very, very cool
okay.
musicians, and
Cool.
so we're working really hard on it. And they don't do bundles; they do fundles. So we'll have vinyl and T-shirts and stickers.
Kinds of swag.
Oh, all swag like you. I can't divulge it yet because, but
Right.
oh yeah, you think that cartoon is cool? Wait till you see what they got happening.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Are you gonna have anything? How much stuff you gonna have anything with you on Saturday?
Yeah, we're.
Yeah,
You got merch?
merchandise.
You're gonna have merch?
Oh, yeah, we're
Okay.
gonna- yes.
Cool.
We'll be kissing babies and shaking hands. at the
Well, that's what you
United
need. That's what you need to get the votes, man.
States. Yeah.
And one more shout out to Mr. Darren D. Rod Smith. You remember him?
Who?
Never mind.
Okay.
Who? Obviously, you're not paying attention, but that's
Not
okay.
actually.
So, episode 79, STL Roar, mycitymymusic.com. Thank you, Anthony Gomes.
Thank you.
And there you go. There's your audience. You can take them with you. Woo! Thank you, Tammy. This Saturday, Diamond Music Hall, Claudia Rose is opening up, and that's going to be badass. Oh, Claudia's starting at 7:30. Do you
I
know?
think 7, and I think we go on at 8.
Awesome.
Oh, and also let everybody know this is actually it's a reschedule from April when he had COVID.
Yes.
Right.
Because I had my ticket from April. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, those tickets
It's
are
a-
still valid.
They're
Yeah.
all still
Yes.
good.
yeah.
Definitely.
Just to let people know.
Cool.
Thank you.
'Cause I was very disappointed.
I was
She
very
was.
disappointed too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like
It
so
sucked.
excited. I'm like,
It
really? Now I gotta wait till August.
Yeah.
So you did have it?
Yes, I
It
did.
sucked, didn't it? I had it. Oh, it's just,
Yeah, she had it too.
it was
Yeah.
terrible.
She did.
I didn't like it.
I was lucky that I had very mild symptoms,
Mhm.
but you know,
That's
you
good.
just sort of have to stick around at home for 2 weeks, which
I know.
you know.
You lose your taste or smell or anything?
I was very lucky. No,
No?
nothing. You know, I was more. Believe it or not, I was shocked that I tested positive. I had been flying a lot in a lot of public places, and I thought, I my allergies were kind of bad, and I thought, well, I should just get tested just to be cool.
Right.
You know, that's what if I went to see an artist, that's what I'd want them to do.
Right.
And I was shocked when I came back positive. And I was like, and I was up. You were upset, man. We hadn't had a gig in 6 months. I was like, you know, having a gig is great on a number of levels. One,
Right.
it's your therapy.
Yes, it is. It's my therapy too.
Yeah. Two, you get to see your friends.
Yeah.
Three, you get paid, which
Right.
we hadn't been
Paid
in
on
6
top of
months.
it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
It was like, so, and people were like, and some people were like, do you really have COVID? Or you trying not to do a gig?
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah, really.
Are you out of your mind? Oh my gosh.
But anyway,
Yeah.
we're blabbing. We got to get out of
That's
here.
all good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, and we will see you on Saturday, Diamond Music Hall. Take your audience.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Tweezy. Thank you, Tammy Sue Bellman. Tammy Sue! 2 times in the studio. Proud of you. See?
it's awesome.
It's getting easier.
It's getting easier. Yes, it is. I
And you
wasn't
brought
as
me
nervous
dinner.
this time.
And you brought me dinner.
And I brought you dinner.
You're so sweet.
Yes.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you, Tweezy. We're going to go out with this song. Boom, boom. And
Call.
your mama wants to